Tonight on the Black Channel, the verdict is in and it's guilty on all counts. What do you do if you're Donald Trump today? Is it all the way over for you? The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting super fortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, well, basically I won't be breaking any news here. It's been a few days since that has occurred. But for those of you who may not have heard here, the trial of former President Donald Trump has been concluded in New York, and as was predicted here, he was found guilty. Basically, paying a chick off, basically, is what that was for. And like I say, certainly there was some chicanery going on there. They actually went back and rewrote laws to go get him. And that's the kind of thing I want to talk about for a moment. That's the thing I want to talk about here. This was far from a just trial. This was absolutely rigged, absolutely biased, and the whole nine yards. It was they were definitely out to get him. That's for certain. And they got him. Very, very predictable here. But in referencing this, I want to talk about this from a comprehensive standpoint. I want to talk about this from a comprehensive standpoint because I want you to understand that this is the kind of thing right here that puts it in historical context. Donald Trump is an old man. Donald J. Trump is an old man. He is an old man at this point in his life. There has been so much that he has gotten to do way before now. So much that he was able to do way before now. And I have to say something here. I am here to tell you that this trial was absolutely unjust. It was absolutely biased. It was absolutely crooked. And it's absolutely what happened to the Central Park Five and countless other black men in New York City. And 30 years ago, when Donald Trump had the ability and the freedom to be a campaigner for justice, when he had the ability to be an advocate for justice, Donald J. Trump instead chose to be an advocate for injustice, putting his money where his mouth was. Putting his money where his mouth was. This man goes off and buys a whole newspaper ad. He goes off and plays for a whole newspaper ad. This man goes off and pays for a whole newspaper ad. At a time when he simply could have just sat back and said nothing. He wanted to get attention. He wanted to get the limelight. He wanted to get the spotlight. He wanted to be seen. And a group of black children A group of black children were who he targeted. Now, I want you to understand it would be different. It would be slightly different if these were black children who came from a position of eminent wealth and their families had status, and if these were rich folks, some wayward rich kids or whatever, even if these are a bunch of poor black kids in New York. And one of the richest men in America targeted them. Now, that's the context I want to put this in. One of the richest men in America targets a group of poor black kids from New York. Poor black kids from New York. Now, you talk about an outsized fight there. All you're sitting up here doing is you got kids, and imagine that your children are on trial and one of the richest people in the world has stopped what he's doing to go on a campaign against them. A campaign that was absolutely bogus. And like all unrecalcitrant, look it up, like all unreformed racists out there, decades later, when Donald Trump had the opportunity to admit his mistake, admit where he was wrong, and stop there, when they were asked about the Central Park Five, he sat there and said the city shouldn't have paid them anything, that he still stood by it. After, at that point, it was clear to anyone and everyone, completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. That's an issue. Because when you've been told what is right, and you absolutely refuse to do the right thing, now that's something to remember. That's something to remember. That man had the opportunity to do the right thing when it would have mattered, and he stubbornly stuck to his guns, and at that moment, he confirmed that he was an agent and an advocate of injustice. And I don't cry when chickens come home to roost. When you sit up here and go this far, when you go this far, that's the thing I want you to understand. When you go that far with it, that you got all that money and influence and everything else going on there, I want you to understand that. That's serious. I don't care about him hanging out with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson helped Donald Trump make a whole bunch of money. Trump was not being philanthropic. Donald Trump did not hang out with these black folk because he thought they were cool folks to hang out with. He hung out with these black folk because they were helping him make more money. They were helping him make more money. He was not being charitable. So don't sit up here and try to bandy in front of me the black folks he's had around him. He's had black folk around him who were doing things for him. And Donald Trump, when he had the opportunity to stand up for justice in the court system, he stood behind the court system. Now he wants to stand against it. Now he wants to talk about, well, black folk understand. Yes, we understand because you're one of the people who helped it happen. The prison industrial complex was erected by the Donald J. Trumps. Once he got into office, he realized these folks were serious about coming after him. It would have been a hell of a whole lot more useful for him to have done something before he got into office. Instead, he erects the prison industrial complex and is now screaming foul because that same prison industrial complex is now coming for him. I bet you he never in a million years figured that that was going to occur. Never in a million years. Don't you know he never thought that was going to happen? Don't you thought in a million years he never imagined he'd live long enough to see something like that occur? No. He figured, I'm rich. Well, first of all, I'm white and I'm rich and I am exempt from the rules. Now, all these decades later, in his elder years, when he's got other things that he wants to do, when he's got other things that he would rather be spending his time doing, he has other pursuits he'd rather be doing, just like he did to those young men years and years ago, he is watching his future be derailed right in front of him by a prosecutor who is breaking the law and breaking the rules. But you see, Donald Trump had no regard for the law or the rules when he thought he was exempt from them. Now that he is subject to them, he is screaming for a just court system. You know, the way that we have always demanded a just court system all these centuries, and he cannot find one. We've always talked about black folk ended up in sundown towns. And Donald Trump was one of the people who wanted to make New York a sundown town for us. And now he's rethinking all of that. He's rethinking the wisdom of all of that. Because this confirms what Jason Black has told you all for decades, that if we cannot all be equally comfortable, then we will all be equally uncomfortable.
And deal with it, nigga.
You have had decades now, Donald Trump, to make sure that we were at least to be an advocate for all of us being equally comfortable. And instead, you were an advocate for white privilege. Now, of all the people in America they could have chosen, they have chosen you to be subjected to discomfort. Not as a young man either. You see, I talked to Brother Yusuf Salaam in my documentary Race War. So I'm not telling you what somebody else told me. I will not speak out of turn here, but what I will tell you is that that experience still affects Brother Salam to this day. I just want you all to understand, for somebody who got to sit down in front of him face to face, I won't go into details, but understand something. That experience has affected Yusuf Salaam to this very day. He is never going to truly be over that. Ever. Ever. And because of that, and by the way, he's not the only one, but because of that, I just want Donald Trump to understand that we've been sitting and watching and listening. And one day, maybe some of the others are going to get away with it, but one day, your number is going to come up. And you're going to walk into a courtroom somewhere, and you're going to find yourself on the receiving end of the American injustice system. And you will be appealing for all of your whiteness and all of your money, and there will be no one to hear you. And you're going to remember the Central Park Five. And you're going to remember what you did to them. And you're going to remember that, oh, so this is what that's like. Interestingly enough, ironically enough, as Donald Trump is facing jail time, and I think there's a very strong likelihood that that's going to happen, because if they have very clearly here, that's what they're looking for. They're not looking to embarrass him for the election. They're looking to take him out. Remember, when you strike at the king, you must kill him. Understand something, people. When you strike at the king, you must kill him. You don't get to sit up here. Some of y'all are thinking like little children. Oh, this is the internet where you troll people. No. You go after somebody like him. When you strike at the king, you must kill him. What do you think he's going to do if he wins that White House? So if you strike at the king, you must kill him. This is not some damn rap beef with some diss records. This man gets back in that White House. He's going to get together with Kobach and the rest of them other folk out there, and he's going to have his enemies list ready. That's what's going to happen. So keep your eyes and your ears open. They didn't rush this trial because they were waiting. They were rushing this thing because they wanted to make sure they got the work done before the election. Just remember that. Now, I bring this up because, ironically enough, as Donald Trump is facing jail time, brother Yusef Salaam is on the New York City Council. He was elected to the New York City Council, and I find this to be, let me tell y'all, they did all the stories and all the movies and all the documentaries. They did all that a little bit too soon. They did a little bit too soon. If they had just waited a little bit longer. Interestingly enough, if they had just waited just a little bit longer. As Malcolm X read from the Bible and said that he who leads into captivity will be led into captivity. And you've watched as he who was led into captivity has been led out of bondage. And you're watching as the people who used to wield power have been turned into servants, and those who were servants have been turned into those wielding power. I find that all to be an interesting turn of events. I find that to be an interesting turn of events. I will not say that that is complete justice, but what I will say is it'll do till real justice gets here. Now you watch as Yusef Salaam is in the most powerful position that he has ever been in, and the people who are trying to target a child have found themselves behind the 8 ball now and facing their own persecution of their own making. Let us be clear. Donald Trump knew what he was doing, as they all know what they are doing. When they sit up here and say, whatever, we're white and we say so, whatever the rules are, we make up the rules as we go along. That's what they're thinking. We'll make up the rules as we go along. Now they're finding out that's not such a comfortable position to be in, making up the rules as you go. Now that somebody's making them up for you. Politics to the side, my feelings about Joe Biden to the side. Understand something. I'm not a Democrat first, Republican first, or anything else first. I am black first. Yes, I understand about Joe Biden. Yes, I understand about the issues out there, but let's be very, very clear. Just because Joe Biden is the devil does not make Donald Trump an angel. And I am not going to sit here and dismiss the unfinished business of his various crimes against black people. And since now he's having an opportunity to have a taste of his own medicine, maybe now him and some others will reconsider that prison industrial complex that they erected for the sole intention of capturing and persecuting as many of us as humanly possible. Maybe going forward, they'll rethink the wisdom of advocating for such a thing. Now that there's a very realistic possibility they could be there. Maybe now they'll rethink the wisdom of it and reconsider it. If you all agree that they would be well advised to rethink the wisdom of advocating for that prison industrial complex going forward, give me the green check mark emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 3,600 people in here live in just the first 20 minutes. If you agree that they would be well advised to rethink that prison industrial complex now, give me the green check mark emoji and hit the likes button. If you like tonight's program, and if you don't, well, we got something for that too. But by the way, this is a moment of reflection. We can talk about politics and polls any other time, but this is a moment of reflection here. This is a moment of reflection. Those 5 young black men spent 7 years in prison for a crime that very obviously they did not commit. And they were reveling in their ability to say, a white woman can point the finger and we will uphold what she says, even if we know it's a lie, even if we know it's untrue. Because you are not being convicted of sexual assault. You're being convicted of your unforgivable blackness. That's what you're being convicted of. You're being convicted of that. Well, Donald Trump, you're not being convicted of election fraud. You're not being convicted of that. You're being convicted of your inexcusable Republicanness. That's what you're being convicted of. You're being convicted of that. You're guilty of that. That's what you're guilty of. Why is it the Republicans do not have as much of the black vote today as they had in centuries past? It is because of things like that. That's the reason why. It's because of things like that. Even when Donald Trump was not a Republican, the problem is that's how he ended up over there. Not to say the Democrats are better, but by the way, that's the reason why your support has never been where it could have been in that regard. Because we've watched these things and we've seen these things and we witnessed these things. And as a result, we have responded accordingly. You see, you should have a groundswell of support that makes it unstoppable, but you don't. Let's be very, very clear. All of Joe Biden's screw-ups of the last 3 years, that it should be a damn cakewalk to get him out of office. Hell, it should have been a cakewalk to keep him out from the first time. How in the hell does that occur? And it occurs because you rest on your laurels. You tell yourself that you don't need the black vote, or, well, we'll just get a few percentage points here or there. What they need to understand is a few percentage points here or there, that ain't gonna cut it. You all better be sitting up here with hat in hand. You all need to be coming to us with hat in hand and saying, you know what? We need to get that black vote. And getting the black vote, and I warned of this the entire time, campaigning for the black vote is not something that you do at the 11th hour. Campaigning for the black vote is something that you must be doing all day, every day. Ever since Speaker of the House, Ryan, I've talked about that. You can't just jump up on a random Tuesday and then say, hey, let's go talk to some black folk here 5 minutes before the polls close. Everybody and their mother is trying to figure out how to talk around us rather than talk to us. When their asses are in a bind, however, then they come to find us. When you're supposed to be talking to us the entire time, you're supposed to be speaking to us the entire time. That's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what you're supposed to be doing the entire time. We're supposed to be seeing you for years, not to pat us on the back and say, hey, how you doing? But to do like you do with everybody else and saying, these are the tangibles that we are going to present to you. It is not up to us to just vote for you because Joe Biden is a troll. It is your responsibility to motivate us as registered voters to get off the couch and come vote for you. That's your responsibility. And if you had been hard at work about this the entire time, it would have paid dividends by 2024. Donald Trump's son and the rest of them, they're not afraid to say the word reparations. They're just afraid to commit to anything and then hoping that we're not paying attention. Well, hopefully Biden has become so unacceptable. That's the strategy now, is that the other candidate needs to be so unacceptable. Biden, well, Donald Trump, he's a bad guy. Yeah, but you're not any better. Yeah, well, Trump is worse. And then Trump, Biden's a bad guy. Well, dude, you're not a whole lot better. Yeah, but Biden's worse. And that's not the way you vote. That's really not the way you vote. These people are seasoned, experienced business people, professionals, and politicians. That's not the way you get a client. You don't get a client by pretending he don't exist. You don't get a client by ignoring his phone calls. You don't get a client by pretending you don't see him. You get a difficult client by continuing to work the phones and continuing to work him. That's what the hell you do. Well, I released some black folk from prison before I left office. That's great. That's grand. That's wonderful. They do that. They've locked so many of us up. That's easy to do. All of us are not felons. All of us are not imprisoned. So, yeah, you get credit for that, but just understand that's not a panacea. What else did you bring? What else did you bring? Folks, I want you to understand, I am very well aware of the deficiencies of Joe Biden, but we cannot and we must not ignore these things. We cannot ignore them and we must not ignore them. We don't gain anything by telling ourselves that Donald Trump all of a sudden, well, Joe Biden is this bad, and ignore everything else, at least for historical context. Understand something. If I don't do what I'm doing right now and acknowledge what Trump did, then we have just forgotten why we're even here. Do I want another 4 years of Joe Biden? Hell no. But I am not going to check my blackness at the door. I am not going to check it at the door. And I would be remiss as both your anchor man and having the history of this if I didn't sit up here and tell you that, by the way, historically speaking, if we're going to keep that in mind, then we need to remember how he got here. We need to remember how Donald Trump got in this position to begin with. If Donald Trump actually had strong black support, he would not be here. He's had every opportunity to cultivate it for decades. Hey, Donnie boy, I wonder how stubborn you would be today about standing by, supporting, convicting the innocent Central Park Five. I wonder how stubbornly you would argue against justice and against the facts today. I wonder if you had to stood up here and explained that I wonder if you would still stand against it today. Now that you're on that side of the bench and they're on the other, I wonder if you would still be such a staunch advocate for injustice now. You see, people, that's something I don't play about. I don't play about injustice. Now, sometimes there can be stern, strict punishments, but you should never go out to target people. You should never go out to persecute people or to target people. And as we take the reins of power, it is imperative that we create a society that does not target people. Yes, it corrects wrongs, and yes, it gives reparations. But we do not wish to create a society that targets people. Our goal is to obliterate a society that targets people. We're targeting injustice. And we should never be worried about that, ever. You can always stand by that. I can always stand by justice, and what's happening to Trump now, that's justice too, by the way. So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to allow Donald Trump to escape the hangman's noose? I'm supposed to allow him to skip town for his crimes? I'm supposed to allow him to sit up here and persecute other people and he himself shouldn't be subject to it because, well, you know, he's better than Biden? Really? That's where we are? This is where we are today. Let me tell you right now, I would take a decade of Joe Biden to have seen Carolyn Bryant swing from the gallows. I would gladly have another 10 years of Joe Biden if it would have allowed us to watch Carolyn Bryant's old, decrepit, wicked witch of the West feet swinging from the gallows. I'll deal with that 10 years here, but there is unfinished business. Jason, does it mean that much to you? Hell yeah. It sure does. Absolutely. Yes, it does. Yes, it means just that much. Yes, it does. As black people, I want y'all to understand something. Let me back this up a little bit here. You see, if we were Jewish society, yes, I said it. If we were Jewish society, how would they handle it? How would they handle it? Would they support a politician? Would they sit up here and say, well, as long as we can get this other guy, we'll let some of the Nazis slide. Yeah. The old Nazi guard there, he's 92 years old, but we gotta get Biden elected, so let him slide. Are you kidding me? The ADL shows up. AIPAC shows up. Steven Spielberg shows up. Jerry Seinfeld shows up. They're gonna be like, man, damn that election. Grab that old bastard over there and get his wheelchair and his oxygen tank, wheel his ass right over here, this electric chair. Damn an election. We'll deal with the election in 4 years. He gets his now. He gets his right here. And you know why? Because they're trying to make a point to you. Some of these things in politics might be an annoyance, but when you have dedicated yourself to the task of annihilating these people, when you have dedicated yourself to the task of enacting systemic injustice against them, that becomes job number one. That becomes score to settle number one. That becomes number one. Now, I want you to understand that the reason why I'm taking out this time to put this in this proper context is because by all means here, we don't lose either which way this goes. Because getting all these old demons and bringing them back The alternative is to allow them to get away with their injustice. People, the only reason that we are demanding monetary reparations is because we were denied the ability to exact physical punishment against those who ran and the plantations and the government that supported it. That's the only reason that we are reduced to demanding monetary reparations. Because in reality, our reparations should be monetary and physical, just like the Jews got. All the people who persecuted them, line them up. Line them up. No. Bring them all back in here. Line them up. You know what you did. Get them back in here. Line them up. And I am having a teaching moment with you all right now. Don't you ever allow current events, pop culture, politics, or anything else to cloud what is actually important, because this other thing is something that carries across centuries. And we don't do ourselves any favors by convincing people of how serious we aren't. So I'm taking out the time to remind you of how serious we are. Donald Trump had his opportunity to be an advocate for justice, and he has capriciously been an advocate for injustice. Well, guess what? Injustice came knocking on his door. By the way, my likes are a little bit low here. So apparently folks were expecting me to sit up here and be an advocate for some other things. And that's not going to be the case. But I just thought I'd take out a few minutes here to address that. Here's the headline here. Here's your headline. Donald Trump and friends are saying that they raised $34 million. Now, there's some articles that were having a number of 50 million, but those seem to, it's been kind of hard to confirm those. But the number that's being bandied about the most is them being able to raise $34 million since the verdict was given. I need to take a moment here because, yes, I understand that a lot of you are very, very disenfranchised about the prospect of Joe Biden getting 4 more years, and I understand that. But I want you to understand something else here. This election is not going to be won based on fundraising. I want you to understand that. You can go raise all the money you want to, Mr. Trump. No, folks, on that 50 million number, that comes with an asterisk. That 50 million number comes with an asterisk. That's why I'm using the 34 million number. That 50 million number, that comes with an asterisk. So calm down. But here's the issue. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if you think that money is what wins elections, ask Michael Bloomberg. Ask Michael Bloomberg if having deep pockets is the determining factor in whether or not you get elected. Understand that. Ask yourselves that question there. Michael Bloomberg thought the same thing. Michael Bloomberg thought the same thing. He thought that all he needed to do was have deep pockets, and that was going to sew together everything else. And that's not the way that works. That is not the way that works. The bottom line is that Donald Trump cannot win this election based on a bunch of angry Republicans alone. That's the issue. There are a lot of folks out there, and I understand some folks here, they're very politically unsophisticated and they go off of what they feel and what they wish were true as opposed to objective political reality. But let me go ahead and shine the light of day on you. Yes, convicting Trump has certainly galvanized his base. That's for certain. But you do understand that convicting him also serves to galvanize Joe Biden's base. They feel the wind is at their back. After all these months of seeing Trump kick Biden's rump, he's got bars. Now they feel like they got the wind at their backs now. Do you understand that? You can't see things just one-sided. His supporters here feel like, oh, they're cooking with gas. They feel like they're cooking with napalm. They feel like they got some wins before the election. That's what they feel like. And that's going to be the kind of thing for you all to keep in mind, this idea that, oh, it's going to galvanize Trump's base. Well, that's cute and everything, but that's not the issue. That's not the issue. I just want you all to be aware of that. This thing can go both ways as far as galvanizing a base. That door swings both ways. I would not overstate black support for Trump, because the issue is, it's not about how many folks say they're going to vote for you. It's about, by the way, what are you offering? We still got several months until the election. You have several months before the election, and you need to get that cleared. This idea that we'll vote for Trump because he's not Biden. What I'm saying is, don't bet your political life on that. Don't bet your political life on that. As black folk here, let's be very clear. We don't do ourselves any favors showing up for any politician who isn't laying out clear, concrete tangibles for us. We don't do ourselves any favors playing the vote for the other guy game. I want y'all to understand something here. Everybody tries to convince you that every election is the last one, that this is the most important election. Folks, they say this every election. They say this every election. Every election they tell you this is the most important one. Right before they get to the next election, then they tell you that that one's the most important one. And then after you vote in that one, they come back to the next election. This is the most important. What about the last two? Every election they come back and recycle that slogan. I want you to be clear on that. So don't let folks get you into a situation here where you feel like this is the last one, and oh boy, if we don't make a turnaround here, it goes X, Y, Z. That's when you realize you got sucked into the game. You got sucked into the game. There are a lot of things here to learn, and some folks, I think, are going to find themselves unpleasantly surprised when they realize that things will not be as easy as they thought. However, there may be a little bit more to that here, and that's the part I want to go to now. What do you do in this situation here where the hammer has come down? And that's just one of several, by the way, because you still got Georgia hanging out there somewhere. What do you do under those circumstances? What do you do when the Huns are at the gates and the folks are gunning for you? And now a few of the body blows have landed. What do you do now? Well, you would figure that the smart thing to do will be to remember where you're weak at. Yes, your base will be galvanized to start throwing more money, but he's only one man. Folks, what is his message? I'm not Joe Biden. Come on now, what's the message? Vote for me. I'm not Sleepy Joe. Okay, this ain't about who you're not. It really isn't. It really isn't. And I don't want you to get that in your head. So please understand, and I've taken a look at several things here. I've taken a look at several things. And this could go either which way. I want to show you on your screens here. This is an article from no less than Fox News, actually. So, nobody anti-Trump over there. And you can take a look at that headline right there for yourself. For some people who might be deceived on certain things. But by the way, you can take a look at that for yourselves. Now, I do want to make sure that's in its proper context, but it says the Trump verdict makes a significant number of Republicans less likely to support him, according to a poll. A Reuters Ipsos survey. Now, according to the Intelligencer, I think that's from New York Magazine, I want to say with Mark Murray from NBC News, he was making several points, and he said, be careful about emphasizing that 1 in 10 GOP voters who say they are less likely to vote for Trump after his conviction, per Ipsos. That finding is identical to what NPR PBS Marist found of GOP voters before the conviction, with most saying it doesn't make a difference. Now, it's a little bit different now because for some folks, they're claiming it may make more of a difference in how they vote. But I want you to understand, if you're telling yourself, it doesn't make any difference here, just understand, folks, most voters are passive. Most voters are passive to begin with, so they don't pay a lot of attention to things. Getting them galvanized is hard enough to do, difficult enough to do. And Donald Trump right now, the issue for him is he's made a lot of enemies among Republicans, so he doesn't have a whole lot of support there like he needs to. There's another problem he has. A lot of folks forget that. But as always, people, no matter what is occurring anywhere with any so-called politico or any so-called politician, I want you to keep your eye firmly on the ball, and you are at all times to ask the same singular question. What's in it for us? Do not get lost in the weeds. Your job is to continually say, what's in it for us? And the issue I want you to understand is that it does you no favor for politicians to tell you they're going to do the same thing for you that they said they're going to do for everybody else. Well, the stuff he's talking about, that was stuff he was going to do no matter what. He can do all of that and do nothing else for us. Well, it helps us indirectly, okay. Some of you fall for it the other way. I just wanted to submit to you all here that in reality, this could be the end for Trump. This could be the end for him. I know some folks, everything is a work to a lot of folks there. It's just like the internet has got so many people feeling disconnected from reality that they think everything is a hoax and everything is theater and everything is entertainment because they're out of touch with the real world. So in their heads, everything is unreal. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's not always the case. But I did want to ask that question about, is this the end for Trump? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the telephone lines. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. And I'm going to have you all allowed to call in and let us know if this is the end for Trump. By the way, if you all would like me to go ahead and open up Zoom, if you would like for me to go ahead and open up the Zoom, I can see about doing that as well. So if you all want me to open up Zoom for you, that's an option. If you want me to do that, give me the television emoji in the chat room if you want us to open up the Zoom. If you don't want us to open up the Zoom, though, just give me the red X emoji. So if you want us to open up the Zoom, Give me the television emoji. If you want us to open up if you don't want us to open up Zoom, give me the red X emoji and we'll leave that off. That's an option for you as well. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break here. Before we do, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Venmo, Super Chat. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that as always here. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we will be taking your telephone calls and more. This is the Black Channel.
Hello, my name is Steve Burgess, and I'm the author of this book, Guidelines for the Successful Student, a closer look at parenting your school-aged child. In this book, I've explained the role of the parent and the student in addition to what accommodations, procedures, rewards and consequences and expectations that need to be in place to ensure student success from primary to high school. This book is available on Amazon.com. For more information, please visit my link tree at Easy One-on-One, and to access my latest podcast, A Teaching Moment with Mr. B. Thank you all for listening.
A white supremacist assassin seeks revenge. Corrupt FBI agents with evil intentions. Dangerous black collaborators dedicated to treason. Occam Jeffers must defeat them all and somehow survive. One misstep and he's a dead man. Join Occam Jeffers as he looks the devil in his blue eyes and tells him, Black first. A sequel to the underground hit War of the Heart, Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents God Love Us, on sale at Amazon. Pre-order and save today. Visit spiritOf1811publishing.com and show your love.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the Blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. As always, you are welcome to join us. We're going to go ahead and see about opening up the Zoom here momentarily. So sit tight for that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get over here to the telephone lines. And we're asking here tonight about whether or not Trump is finished as a result of the conviction here this week. And there are questions to ask, because if he ends up going to jail, he's not finished because he got convicted. Okay, if he gets sent to jail, is he finished then? All right, let's get to the phone lines. Let me get caller from area code 206. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, good evening. This is Agnes calling from Seattle, Washington.
All right, Agnes from Seattle, what's on your mind?
Hi. Excellent analysis and very thorough political science education about keeping everything in check and looking at the analysis from pretty much many different angles. As far as Trump being down, yes, he's down. As far as being out politically, it remains to be seen. Keep in mind that even though he lost the 2020 election, he still pulled a dirty trick with that coup attempt in 2021. Okay? So we still got a couple of months left. I still think he's got some dirty tricks left up underneath his sleeve. Remember, he's been doing dirty politics and running roughshod for decades. And he's got friends in high places who are just as crooked and dirty as he is. I don't believe in voting for the lesser of two evils or an enemy of my enemy is a friend. I look at what are you offering me? And neither party is offering me anything, and I'm just going to park my behind on the couch. That's all. B1.
B1, sister, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get call America 510. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's August from Oakland.
Okay, August from Oakland. It sounds like you're a little bit away from your phone there, sir. What's on your mind?
Well, sorry, I'm on an airplane getting ready to get off.
Okay. He was abducted. Maybe he'll give us a call back. Let me get caller from Area Code 313. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from Area Code 313. Last try. You're on live.
It is Eric. You
Okay.
can hear me?
Eric, what is your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm Eric. I'm from Houston. Well, I live in Houston. Just wanted to add my little 2 cents. First off, man, I appreciate all the knowledge you spread. I watch your videos a lot. I really appreciate it. You're doing a service to us. I don't think it's over for Donald Trump, but I kind of agree with the lady that just spoke before me. I'm not with taking the lesser of two evils because we did that the last election, and Joe Biden really lied to everybody. Like, I literally voted for Joe Biden his last election just because he ran on, like, deleting people's school loans. Like, that was, like, a big deal for me. School loans that held me back from a lot of stuff. But when 4 years later he ain't did none of that, then I'm back to, well, I'm just going to sit on the couch.
Okay, well, let me find out here real quick. What exactly did a student loan hold you back from?
Just my credit, man. Just having a lot of issues with getting stuff.
Okay, you say student loans held you back with your credit. Let me ask you 2 questions here. How much do you make a year?
Man, roughly 40,000.
Okay, problem number 1. And do you have any derogatory things on your credit besides a student loan? Unpaid credit cards, bills, collections?
No, just really my student loans. That's the only thing I got on there. I tried to get a house 2 years ago, and they brought up my student loans.
Okay.
I wasn't able to get the house. So.
You could have. Why didn't you get, like, for example, a secured credit card to build up your credit until you can get an unsecured one?
I'm just kind of learning all the ways to get your credit up.
Right.
So,
because my real thing is student loans.
I'm a little ignorant to all of that.
Well, student loans don't really.
I'm gonna be honest
for most lenders, student loans are regarded like medical debt. You know, it's just this seen as a one-time expenditure, and it really has a relatively low impact. In your case, you haven't built up any good credit, so yeah, if the only thing on your credit is a student loan, and then you're going back trying to get a large loan like a mortgage or something, yeah, that's going to be a problem. So I just want to take a moment to advise you of that. You might want to be aware of it. But certainly, I
appreciate that.
Even if Joe Biden eliminated everybody's student loans, y'all are still going to have to go out into the job market. Because here's my thing: you have a student loan? What did you go to school for?
I went to school for counseling.
Okay, and there's the issue, sir. Your degree. I mean, did you actually graduate?
No, I didn't graduate.
All right. So we went to school, we didn't graduate, and even if you had, you would have had a degree in counseling.
Yes, I
So
would have.
I just want to illuminate that right quick there is that even if things had gone exactly the way you were hoping it would have, and I know you're saying it didn't occur, well, you're right, but even if it had, you'd most likely still be exactly where you are right now. So I don't know if that makes you feel better, but adding all that up, you'd probably be exactly where you are right this moment. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Yeah, folks, when you run the math on it, and you review the numbers, it goes a little bit differently when you run the math on it. Let me get caller from area code 323. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Big Brother Jason. This is Brother Elijah calling out of Manhattan, New York.
All right, Brother Elijah in Manhattan. What's on your mind?
Brother, to respectfully answer your question, I don't think this is going to have much of an impact. I don't believe Mr. Trump is going to prison. Truth be told, I'm not here caping for that man after what he did, but I don't believe he's going to go to prison because, I'm looking at the bigger picture. Does New York State have that much power over a former U.S. president? And then my question also, I was listening to Tariq. At best, he will just get some probation. At worst, he'll just get a heavy fine and probably not be able to practice any practice business in New York State again. But I just can't see them putting a former president inside of a state prison, and this man ran the whole country. But I could be wrong, and I'm willing to be corrected.
Well, certainly I think when you have this many people colluding here together, you don't generally bring criminal charges like this unless you're going to do something in that regard. Because the real thing is, if they don't take that action against him, then what is he going to do if he wins?
Yes, sir.
So I think that kind of puts them in I think that this is one of those situations where if you start it, you better finish it. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Everybody's calling me from the damn street tonight. I don't know if they all walking to work or whatever it is, but everybody's calling me from a street corner named Desire. Let me get caller from area code 929. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Daryl from Chicago.
All right, Daryl from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Jason, another excellent broadcast and great, tremendous analysis of everything. I truly believe that right now it's an undecided thing, but at the same time, you just gave them some fine points about what will happen if they did not put Trump in jail or go forward with it. And yes, they know that he will retaliate, come back at him. And yes, like you said, you got to go through it. You better put the foot on the gas pedal and go all the way with this thing. Because if you don't, you're going to put the foot on the pedal and go on the gas with them, against them. And that's just the way that is. And as far as the black vote is concerned, I'm not even going to be sitting on the couch. I'll be watching the election, but I'll be doing it from home because I'm not going out there and voting for nobody. Not until they show us what we're supposed to be getting, the intangibles. Period. That's it. What you're going to do for us. If they're not going to do nothing, there's no sense in me even worrying about either side. And that's how it is.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 203. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing? Jafar from Connecticut. How you doing?
All right, Brother Jafar. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Brother, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I wanted to say, I think Trump is not going to be going to jail. I mean, because he got the appeal process. That'll go up to the Supreme Court, and that is going to take past the election. Me personally, this is me personally. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I think black people would be absolutely retarded to vote for Joe Biden. I mean, he's giving immigrants money right in black people's faces. He's housed them. Listen, I mean, Trump ain't. I'm voting for Trump. I got family in Philly and Georgia. We all voting for Trump. Listen, if he don't listen, get these immigrants out of here. That's doing something for black people. Because listen, I'm gonna say one more thing. Listen, in a minute they ain't even gonna need our vote. Our voice ain't gonna mean nothing. They brought 17 million people in this country. What they gonna bring? 40, 30 more? It's only 50 million of us. So I don't care. Biden is the worst president in my life, and I'll let you talk. My bad. I mean to ramble.
Well, I'm not mad at you. Look, anybody who wants to vote for Trump, I'm not against it. I'm not mad at you. I don't have a problem with it. I certainly want us to keep our eye on the ball, but if you feel like that is consequential enough, and that that's not something you can overlook in this regard, then I absolutely understand.
Yeah, because I'm saying, listen, they're giving people money, particularly Chicago, New York, giving these people money right in our people face. They're not even hiding. They're not being discreet about it. They're not giving them chump change. Come on, man. Like, what is the? He already. Listen, man. Who said that? I don't think Maya Angelou. Somebody show you who it is. Believe him. Like, Trump ain't do no policy that hurt black people. I don't care what the man say. I don't care what the man feel. As long as his policies ain't out to hurt us. See, listen, Joe Biden, he gonna roll in. He gonna roll in some fried chicken dinners like he did in North Carolina. Bring out the hot sauce. Go to church. Do the Dougie. I don't care about none of that. Like, we too emotional. In my opinion, we too emotional as a people who like us, who racial, who prejudiced. Me personally, I don't give a damn about none of that. As long as them policies don't hurt my people, I don't give a damn. Joe Biden policies have hurt us. And that's all I got to say, man. I enjoy your show. I'm a big fan. Peace and blessings.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. It's a broadcast, not a show. Caller Mary Code 412. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. How are you? My name is Renee.
All right, Renee from Pittsburgh. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm enjoying your broadcast right now. But I was thinking this. I'm Pennsylvania, and the polls hasn't changed for Trump. He raised over $53 million in the last, 2 or 3 days? And I think it's going to be a double-edged sword. If you look at it, if they try to put him in jail, he's going to have more donors. He's going to have people coming to vote for him more. And like I was just looking at all aspects of it, you see the more Democrats is cheering for it. You had your Rowlands, you had your Simone Sanders, you had Joy Reid, all of them cheering for this man to go to jail. But they have to understand, if black people don't show up at the polls for Biden, or you have a percentage to vote for Trump, what are they going to do then? So you got to look at it. It's going to be a double-edged sword because people do believe that jury was rigged. And, that's just put out there. I mean, I'm going to sit on the couch. I'm not voting for anyone. My brother was right about the immigrants. It's horrible. I would vote for him. If I would vote for him, it would be more policy for immigration. Like he said, they're letting more and more in. I've seen some where I work at all downtown and begging and putting up signs for their families. This is crazy. So we're going to have to put a halt to this some type of way. We're going to have to get this taken care of. Because not only that, I was listening to Kamala Harris talk in Philadelphia, and she said, well, the world is depending on the black voter. Well, why is the world depending on us for democracy? See, they only come to us when they need something to not have him in office. So
they're certainly depending on the Democrats are certainly depending on us. They're certainly depending on us. I don't know if they qualify as the world, but they certainly are depending on us.
Oh, she said the world.
Here's the issue. If it was that important, then she's had 3 years to sit up here and bring us something, and all she's done is sit up here and dance for the 50th anniversary of hip-hop in that crazy-ass outfit she was wearing. So far as I'm concerned, She ain't got no points. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. By the way, folks, if y'all want to, you can put a little something on the super chat for the 9-volt battery fund. I would hate for the sister to sit up here and burn up her toaster. So if y'all want to put something on the 9-volt battery fund so we can go ahead and save a life, I'd like to do that. Speaking of which here, want to send a shout out here to Brother Jafar. Thank you very much for contributing to support tonight's program. Mr. Cocaine, my name is Cocaine. Miss Harrington, thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate that. Mr. Richburg and everybody else here, Nancy King, Andrew Roberson, all my new folks who have signed up to become members of the channel. Thank you all very much for your support. We appreciate that. Let me get caller from area. Okay, I have some folks on Zoom. I'm going to get to Zoom here in just a moment. Let me get caller from area code 480. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, hello. My name's Lars. First and foremost, I want to say thank you so much. I really enjoy your show and everything. I personally, hello, can you hear me?
It's a broadcast, not a show, but go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Well, first and foremost, I do believe Donald Trump is actually going to win.
Okay, and he got abducted. I didn't hang up on him. And folks calling me tonight, they on the move. They sitting up here on the move, and then they're not doing anything here, so. All right, let me get caller from area code 651. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason Black. This is Abil calling out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, what's that name again?
Abil out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay, Abil, what's on your mind, brother?
Yes, sir. And looking at the whole trial and the whole situation that is basically unfolded, I think that Trump is not going to serve any prison time. I think that this is going to get dragged out through the courts all the way out to the U.S. Supreme Court, which is basically heavily in the red. So I don't know if he's going to serve any prison time. But what I think that, and also great broadcast and excellent breakdown on the political science perspective of the whole thing. But the thing that that really is intriguing to me is that, to me, I think that for Trump getting indicted, basically getting verdict of guilty of all the charges that he's had, I think that this will embolden many of his supporters and many of the voters to try to side with him. But at the same time, like you said, it'll also embolden a lot of the Biden supporters to come out for getting into the office again. As for me, I have no intentions on voting either side, because at the same time, both these sides have no intentions on helping out black people. But and then the thing is, for Trump, the man has stood out there decades ago and basically portrayed these innocent black men on the Central Park 5 of crimes that they never committed. And then Joe Biden passes the 1994 crime bill that has imprisoned a lot of black people for generations. What's the point of voting for either side when both sides have no interest in helping black people? That's where my perspective comes into play.
Certainly I think that's something for folks to keep in mind here, is just not to get lost in the game of political football like you're wearing a jersey or something, and to just be objective about what you actually see and what you do from there. Vote your conscience. I'm not against it one way or the other. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 714. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Last try, caller from area code 714. You're on live.
Hey, what's up, Brother Jason? First of all, I want to thank you for being yourself again. Donald Trump is down bad.
Okay, brother, let me find out here. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, Los Angeles. My name is Derek from Los Angeles, brother. Sorry about that.
Derek from Los Angeles. Go ahead.
Donald Trump is down bad. Yes. But black folks is important. We're important now, and I think we're starting to realize that now. If the Democrats had the civil rights generation, then they'll be all good. But they don't have that anymore, and black people are waking up. I believe that the Supreme Court is going to bail Donald Trump out. I believe after whatever sentence he get, they're going to step in and say, election interference. And that's my take on it. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 510. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is August. I got cut off last time. August from Oakland.
Okay, August from Oakland. Sounds like, brother, you are standing next to a fire engine.
No, I'm on an airplane. Hopefully you guys can hear me.
Okay. Y'all, he just dropped again. I didn't hang up on him. He just dropped again. So the brother's on Spirit Airlines. The brother is on Frontier Airlines. He's trying to give us a call. I appreciate that, but he's trying to give us a call here tonight. So the brother's on Frontier Airlines trying to give us a call from Coach. He's trying to give us a call from Coach back there behind the engines. He's right behind the engines. He's sitting next to Honey Boo Boo, and he's trying to lean over towards the window so he can get a little reception. Hey, I'm back on the line here. Up, down again. He's gonna think I'm persecuting him. No, brother. Let me send a shout out here to everyone who has contributed to support the 9-volt battery fund here. We appreciate that. My man, Brother Goshen here dropping the C note. He said for the battery fund, he wanted to buy batteries for the rest of her life, so make sure she stays good. We appreciate that. Storm, we appreciate that as well. Bayou Billy has been giving the gift that keeps on giving memberships to the channel. We appreciate that as well. Let me get caller from area code 516. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, brother? Jason. It's Adam calling from Queens, New York.
All right, Adam in Queens. What's on your mind?
So yeah, of course, it's sad to say that I don't think he's going to go to jail. However, I don't like this talk of like, this is just a democratic, like this is just not a democratic attack. This nigga was on the phone asking for votes. This man did an insurrection. So this nigga is guilty and he should be in jail, regardless of how you feel politically. Oh, I'm not emotional. Okay, if you're not emotional, how you voting for a nigga who's saying he's gonna be a dictator just on day one?
Well, sir,
y'all need to
slow down. Mm-hmm. Slow down. First of all, he has not been charged with insurrection, so that one's really irrelevant and invalid because he has not been charged with that. The Supreme Court already ruled on that, so you can pretty much toss that out. So you can have your opinions of January 6th, that's fine, but nobody's charged him with that. So if you're going to sit up here and say, well, charge him with something else, but punish him for this over here, I think that's a very dangerous precedent for you to try to set, to have some spiritual thing for that. The next thing here is when he was asking for votes. Well, that's what politicians are supposed to do, actually. You have to show us where there's something illegal about that. So if you're trying to say, vote for me and I will give you X, Y, Z, well, okay, now we have something. So there's a lot of emotion going on here, but can you tell us the actual crime that was committed and tell us exactly what that crime is that he was just convicted of?
Okay, absolutely. So when he made that speech on January 6th, again, I've spoken to you before. We've agreed that if that was either one of us making a speech on January 6th and then an insurrection happened, hours, like right in, there's no way that you're going to tell me, well, yeah, in the court, we wouldn't even be in the court. We would have been locked up. Like, that's the point. Like, opinion, it's not an opinion. The man incited, and it's like he told his people to go there and do what they did. And secondly, I don't know if you've ever heard, but he told when people
okay,
were
brother,
coming through the metal
I don't think that he told them to storm the Capitol. I don't think he said that, sir.
Told them to fight like hell.
Okay.
Told them to fight like hell, or we won't have a country anymore.
Sir, do you see what you're doing there? So what I'm saying is that if people don't like reality, then they start fabricating things and saying, okay, this is what happened. Yeah, because you don't have what really occurred. So what I'm saying is, I understand how you're feeling, and there's a lot of emotion here. But once again, you're going back to talking about the Capitol, sir. What was he? I'm going to try this for the second. Sir, I'm going to try this for the second time, and then I got to move on. He was just convicted in New York of what? Because so far, it doesn't sound like you actually know what he was convicted of. So let me try again. What was he
No, that's
convicted
the
of
case
in New York?
in New York.
Sir,
that was
what,
financial.
What was okay? Tell me what.
You asked me a question. I'm
Sir,
answering,
tell
brother.
me what he
It
was
was
convicted of in New York. What was the crime?
financial fraud.
In what
That's
way?
what he was convicted
In
of.
what?
in
In
New
what
York.
way, sir? In what
He
way?
lied. He lied about the Stormy Daniels. Blah blah. I don't even care about that.
Okay,
That
no,
to
no,
me,
no, 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 no,
Jason,
no, 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 no,
that's
no, no,
irrelevant.
no, 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 no. He lied about Stormy Daniels. How?
Supposedly that he did that the funds that he gave Michael Cohen to give her wasn't supposed to be to cover up his relationships with her, which I don't care about.
Okay. The gentleman doesn't actually understand what the case was about. Now, he feels things. He's emotional about it. He feels things, but he doesn't know things. And what I'm saying is, we can't afford to be that unsophisticated. We can't. We just can't. And everything that you've named so far is emotional based. Now, let me deal with this January 6th situation. Now, I don't recall my conversation with you, and already you've said some misleading things. So anything that you say that I said, I'm going to say like, yeah, I'm not going to sign off on that or assume that. But what I am going to say is, even if everything you just said about January 6th were true, so what? What's your point? Why should we have a problem? Tell me why any of us listening here right now should be holding that against Trump. Even if everything you said is true, why should we care? Why should that be a bad thing to us?
First of all, it should be a bad thing because now imagine if we do get a brother that's in power, that's rising, and we want to vote for him, and he's got to run against some shit like this to where this nigga
Okay,
saying, well,
no, sir. No, that's hypothetical. No, sir. I'm talking about why should we care? So what you're saying is that we should care about January 6th based on some non-existent hypothetical. That's what you're saying. I'm telling you, give me the right here, right now. Why should I care that they were storming those representatives? Sir, be quiet. Why should we care that they were storming those representatives and those senators in that building on that day? Why should we care?
Because no one in this country should have the power to say, well, if I don't believe the election was fair, well, then it shouldn't count. That's the problem.
And the folks that they were storming have said that they don't care whether we should get reparations or not.
Exactly.
And you're trying to defend, and you're okay. Thank you. But you've taken the side. If you're taking Trump's side to say, well, they should be trying to overthrow them. Why should we care? They're not. They're friends of ours. You're talking as a friend of theirs, and I'm saying no. If they're not friends of ours, you're going to be saying it one way or the other. So I'm repeating your words. You're sitting up here demonizing. You're demonizing Trump when you can't tell us what was wrong. You're talking about, well, maybe in the future. No, I'm talking about that day with those people. Why would that be something that we would care about that day with those people?
Again, that was an attempt to overthrow an election in the United States.
Why should we care? Why should we care about those elected officials, sir? Last time, why should we care about those elected officials?
Because they're elected officials. Regardless if you elected them, like you voted from them, they're elected officials. So in order for a government to run, like a government should run, no one should be able to do what he did, brother. I don't understand.
Boy, what in the hell's the matter with you?
Folks, he's sitting here telling us, well, Jason, why they were elected. So we all need to be running in front of them with our shields. We all need to be human shields and come caping for them. Well, Jason, they were elected. That's his justification. Well, they won the elections. So they got elected, so we should all be defending them. I'm going to defend them to the extent that they defend me. How well have they defended me, sir?
You brought up sir.
Last try. How well have they defended me? Okay, thank you. So why am I going to get up here and get ventilated to defend somebody who ain't defending me? Isn't that what they're obligated to do?
Because, brother, I'm trying to explain it. I don't even care. Like, Again, I'm not.
Clearly you
I don't
do.
like Biden. And I don't like.
Sir,
Trump.
I asked a
don't like
question.
either one
I
of them. They're
asked a
both racist.
question. Why should I defend
Mhm.
people who have clearly said that they are not going to defend me? Why should I care to defend them?
I'm not telling you. You shouldn't. Jason, you shouldn't defend anybody that doesn't care to defend you. But I'm not talking about elected officials, Jason. I'm talking about the point of overthrowing an election. I'm not.
No,
talking
sir.
about
No,
them
no, no, no,
personally.
no.
I'm
It
not
wasn't
talking about them
overthrowing an election, sir. It was the government that was sitting there. That's
What
what
was it?
The government that was sitting there. The elected officials that were sitting there. That's it. That's not the government.
All right, Jason, brother. I don't mean to combat with you. I was just trying to get my point. Like, I
Right.
really don't.
You've made
But
your
again,
point is that you're very anti-Trump with the same MSNBC talking points, but these are not pro-black talking points. What you're saying are not pro-black talking points. These are liberal MSNBC. These are liberal MSNBC talking points. These are not black talking points. Nothing you
but
said
brother,
is black centric.
You didn't act like, brother Jason. You have Central Park 5, okay, that I rarely hear get brought up. I don't know if y'all know or your listeners know, but Central Park 5 is when this man Trump went out there.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you very much for giving us a
against
call
those people.
here. Okay, this guy likes to hear himself talk. If he's really going to sit here after everybody knows about Central Park 5 and he's trying to hear himself speak, you got to understand a lot of these folks here, and they try to come in undercover and low key, and they're Democrat operatives, and all he just said was the Trump is bad. I'm sitting there asking, okay, why should I be defending those people at the Capitol? Elizabeth Warren said, reparations for what? A black hate crime bill. Sheila Jackson Lee. Y'all niggas don't need that. James Clyburn, we got him on video exclusively here. Why y'all effing with me? And he's sitting up here talking about, Jason, you need to run in front of them bullets for them folk right there. Those people have summarily abandoned their duties and responsibilities to us. That's that slave plantation talk right there. Jason, we got to save the Capitol building. I ain't got to do a damn thing. That's what's wrong, Jason. You don't understand. See, Trump gonna take the Capitol. The white supremacists already got the Capitol. Yeah, but Trump is the wrong one. And the folk you talking about are the right ones. Y'all hear that garbage there? It's like he's auditioning for Rachel Maddow. This is what I'm talking about when you fall for that kind of stuff, man. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump over here on Zoom real quick and take a few calls there. I got a lot of folk lined up, so please don't be long-winded about it. However, if you are on Zoom, the only thing we require is make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on, because you won't be allowed on until you get there. But you want to have your camera and your microphone turned on for us. We'll go ahead and see if we can try Shawan. I hope that said Shawan here. We're going to go ahead and see if we can try them first. We'll give them a couple of moments here. Hopefully they're not on Zimbabwe broadband. Hopefully that's not the case. So it says they're trying to connect their audio. So some of these folks call us from satellite phone, or they got their Razor flip phones out there, and next thing you know, nothing's working for them. So Shawan, going to give you 5 seconds here. Make sure you have everything on, or we hit the button for permanently removing you, so that can occur as well. 5 seconds here, Shawan. We don't see a camera on for you. 2 seconds, Shawan. Don't see a camera for you. All right. Shawan is gonorrhea. All right. Let's see if we can get Kid Gravity here. All right, Kid Gravity. You are connecting your audio here for us. All right. Why does Kid Gravity look like one of them old AOL emojis? All right, Kid Gravity, what's on your mind?
What's up, man? How are you?
All right, brother. What's happening?
I just want to say this: MAGA and these conservatives, they're like the worst people I've ever seen. You said they gave that man $3 million. Why didn't they give that to their representatives that have seats up in November? I think they could have used that money more than Trump.
Okay, you mean $34 million. Why didn't they
That's
give it
even worse.
Well, I mean, look, the thing is they got it to spend. White supremacy moves its dollars, so don't worry. There's plenty more where that came from. Remember, they're 98% of the economy, so there's plenty more where that came from. That $34 million, that's not even a drop in the bucket. That's like a squirt of mist, one of the little particles of mist in the bucket. It's not even a drop. So there's plenty more where that came from. But here's the real thing. The real thing is, why should we be against him? What is our dog in the fight to be against Trump?
I don't see it. I'm more focused on what we can get out of this, like an anti-hate bill. That's what I'm focused on.
Now there's the whole thing right there. I'm like, it's okay. Tell Trump here's like, okay, dude, you ain't trying hard enough to get us invested. You're really not. So, if you want to do something to help yourself, you can. And if you don't, it's just you and DA Bragg, I guess. And Bragg is looking, let's be clear. Bragg is looking to like run for governor on this. He's looking to run for governor of New York.
Yeah, 26. Yeah, 26. He wants to be Carl Winslow of New York.
That's a good one, Carl Winslow. But like I say, because he doesn't have anything else to run on. It's like nobody heard of him before now. So definitely he would have to jump on it. Well, yeah, certainly he could. The only issue is, boy, wouldn't that be a step down if he actually was reduced to that? And I feel like I don't think that he has enough support to knock Adams off in that regard. I think the governor's thing, is more vulnerable. Kathy Hochul is an empty suit if I ever saw one. So I think in that regard, and plus when you're going after a president and stuff, it's like you kind of leapfrog mayor at that point. At least you want to go to Albany or something. But it just depends on how that goes, because other than that, what else does he have? Because he hasn't done anything to ingratiate us to him in New York. Alvin Bragg hasn't done anything for us in New York. As a matter of fact, he's been a problem. So if all he has is I convicted Trump, that's going to work with the white liberals, but it's not going to fly much further.
There's also something I'm watching, because even during this election cycle, you still got the Daniel Penny trial starting soon.
Yeah, I want folks to understand this. I'm very glad you brought that up. Because Fannie the Mammy down there in Georgia, I think, won the primary here. So folks had an opportunity to vote again about that. And of course, Atlanta is doing what Atlanta does, unfortunately. The issue there is a bunch of people. Now, if you don't live in Atlanta, I never got to touch on this as much as I wanted to before. Lead attorney was reminding people about this, that, Paul Howard, the previous DA, he made a lot of enemies in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Folks were saying he was corrupt and this, that, and the other. So Paul Howard kind of got a name for himself, making a bunch of enemies. And that's unfortunate in that regard. Fannie the Mammy has been deemed basically the lesser of two evils. And without something really viable to go against her, you don't have that. With Alvin Bragg, it would be the same thing in this regard here. What do you have against it? That's the real issue. What do you have against it? Who do you have against it who would outshine that? So he wants to take attention off the Daniel Penny case. Mm-hmm. And certainly this did it. Certainly this did it. I'm so glad you brought it up, but yeah, I want to mention about that. This certainly takes the eye off of that now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So he's succeeded in that regard. At the very least, by the time it's time to go back for him, he ain't gonna be. He's hoping that he just gets overshadowed, whatever he does. Then I'll let you have the last word.
Like everybody says, right now I'm just gonna either vote the couch or just write reparations, focus on my local and state, and just watch the crap storm that's gonna happen on the 5th. Because whoever wins, the other side's gonna lose it, and the other side, if they win, it's gonna be another 4 years of the stuff we either heard now or we heard in 2016. So we just got to focus and make sure we get our own grassroots candidates in there, hopefully, and that's the best we can do until we can.
Yeah, because the real issues we're having are not so much at the national level. Of course, Joe Biden letting folk in, but in Chicago, that was a local election to put Brandon Johnson where he is. New York, that's a local election. DC, that's a local election. It's just you could taking care of this stuff at the local level if you were disciplined enough to be able to do that. So everything's not national. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight here. Let me get one more call on Zoom before I jump back over to the phone lines here. I'm going to get everybody here that I can, but let me get one more here. All right. Lars. I think I got Lars on here. And what's on your mind, Lars?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
Yeah, sorry, I did try to call you on the phone and my call got dropped. Yeah, I think Trump is definitely gonna win. However, because I just looked at what happened in South Africa, where, of course, the ANC did not, pay attention to the needs of the people that actually got them there, the local Black population over there, and they lost. They lost majorly. So I just think maybe for the Democrats they need to really lose and lose badly. So when they come to us we can now let them know, okay, these are our expectations. These are the things we want to be done in order for you to get our vote. We should just not give our votes away for anything, you know? Maybe our message going forward is like, we are sold out to our interests. We're not putting on anybody's interest. We do not care what's happening in Israel. We do not care what's happening in Ukraine. All we care about is what's happening in our communities and what you're going to do to make our communities better. If not, you know what, then we have no reason to vote for you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely this idea that you're going to tell us it's a crisis, vote for us because the other guy is a crisis. And it's like everything is about deflection and misdirection. Every time we talk about what are you going to do, then all of a sudden they bring up something else.
Yeah,
so that's the issue.
I agree. And especially where they always say, hey, you know, look at what's happening to the Palestinians. You know what? I say, I don't care. I don't care what's happening to them. They could kill themselves for all I care. All I care about is what's happening in our community.
Well, we don't want to do
we
that.
We're not going to lift other people up when we have issues. I'm a firm believer in that. Let's look inward. Let's take care of us, our community, what's happening in our community. If the whole world wants to go to hell in a handbasket, it has nothing to do with us.
I think that's very well said. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Now, look here, folks. If he's on code, he's on code now. So if we hear something off code, let me know. But if he's on code, he's on code. Let me get caller from area code 720. You're on live with the the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Chris from Denver, TBA.
All right, Chris from Denver. What's on your mind?
Man, at first I was kind of thinking along with the rest of the callers about how they're not going to charge Trump. But then you made up a really good point. They almost have to charge Trump because Bragg and the rest of those prosecutors are going to be in a lot of trouble if he gets into office.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you do something this audacious, don't think that New York is going to save you. I mean, remember Elliot Spitzer. And all he did was piss off Wall Street. And they were able to find out where the whores were for him. You think Alvin Bragg and Fannie Willis, and that's the other thing I don't like, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, Fannie the Mammy, they got their pet Negroes they march out there. Everywhere they're going right now, they grab their pet Negroes and march them out there. Knowing full well that puts the target on us as if we're the most ventilated and we're the most motivated to go after this man. No, y'all need to put some white prosecutors out there. Put them out there and let them take the rap for this. But they get their little sock puppets and their little straw men and they go set them up. And then next thing you know, everybody's talking about us. And that's not the way we need things. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me jump back over here on Zoom right quick. Let me see if I can get Yo Mama. Okay. Let's see if we can go ahead and get them up here. Let me give you a few moments here to get your camera on. Hopefully they're not on Zimbabwe broadband. Let me give them a few moments here. Folks, by the way, if you're going to use Zoom or something like that, if you don't have home service, it's going to be real hard for you to get that to work by cell phone. It's real tough. I heard the guy have 4G. Okay. Doesn't work out nearly as well. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 more seconds here. I don't know where you're contacting us from, home or the moon, but if you're in the broom closet at the Fountain Towers, that's not the most advantageous place to be. All right. Well, Yo Mama is going to have to wait here. Everybody else on Zoom, just hang tight here for a moment. Let me get caller from area code 708. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Last try, caller from 708. You're on live.
Yes, this is Triple T. My brother's from Chicago.
Okay, Triple T from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Well, I think if we keep sight of the way these people move, Trump is not down. He's not out. And when the thing that should have taken him out is not even on the table with the January 6th business, you know, in my view, anybody with good sense realize that sense. The Democrats don't have sense enough to say, well, we messed up over the last 3 years, but this is what we got for you. It's a wrap. But then again, we still have a lot of people on the slow bus. But this will probably be the last time that they take that ride. If they manage to figure out how to stumble in there and put number 46 through again.
Well, like I say, I mean, they may have an opportunity to do that. What they're hoping is that, you know, obviously this is aimed towards the old black folk, talking about Trump, and the young black folk ain't sitting up here looking at politicians as no boogeymen. So when you got folks talking about this like a football game and politicians as boogeymen, that's for the old timers. They go for that kind of stuff. They think that's cute. To the rest of us, it's just insulting. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me jump back over here. Let me get on Zoom and see if I can get Denise up on Zoom. I'll give Denise a few seconds here to see if she can get her connection together here on Zoom. And if not, we'll get back over here to the phone line, since my Zoom callers may be having difficulty establishing their connections. Let me give Denise a few more moments here. Folks out here have got their West Virginia Wi-Fi. They got their West Virginia Wi-Fi going here. So, okay, Denise, I'm going to give you 5 more seconds, ma'am. I don't know what's going on with your connection. It's kind of dragging there. So I'm going to give you 5 more seconds, ma'am, and then we got to do something different. Okay. We're having some difficulties there. I'm not really sure what's going on. Okay, let me go ahead and try to do the phone lines here. Let me get caller from area code 561. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Omar out of Palm Beach.
Okay, Omar out of Palm Beach. What's on your mind?
Yeah, you know, I was listening to, you know, even the first caller and the last guy. Well, not the very last guy, but the one that kept going on about the insurrection and whatnot. I mean, I'm glad you did a good job of dissecting that. You can tell a few of these callers, they have a lot of these CNN, MSNBC talking points. But I did want to kind of bring up, now, as we do know, Joe Biden and Trump, clearly neither one of them have a black agenda. But I wanted to see what you thought about the fact that maybe plenty of black Americans may resonate with Trump just because he has some traditional, maybe conservative values, or an agenda that may resonate with just Americans as a whole, as far as, let's say, I mean, as we can see, you know, these liberal agenda that's going on right now, the trans stuff that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. Certainly, you do have, you know, a segment of black society that resonates with that. Sure. Here's the issue. The issue is Trump is sitting up here with all these blacks for Trump and all this nonsense there. And the problem with that is that's not the grassroots. That's not the rank and file. That's the issue. So they want to go and talk to some safe black folk. Barack Obama was smart. And I say he was smart because a lot of folks were upset because I think he went on Fox News and he made a very good point about that. He was like, you know, if we're going to get more votes, we have to go talk to people who were not inclined to vote for us. We need to go and speak to them. The folks who are inclined to vote for us, I mean, yeah, you galvanize your base, sure, but if you're talking about, you know, outside of your base, which is where you win with independents and folks on the other side, you have to cultivate that. You have to work with that. And you can't just jump up an election year and then, hey, boo, hey, big head. You know, that's where the problem comes in. So the values are nice, But if you haven't spent the time and the shoe leather to convince us that you are invested in us as opposed to using us, which is what these political parties do. That's a heavy lift for the Democrats, and it's heavier for him as a Republican. Now, they have no problem doing that with Jews, Latinos, LGBT. It's only when it shows up for us that all of a sudden nobody got to convince us of anything. Nobody has to sit up here and convince us that they are invested in us. Usually we just get them to go vote and do whatever. And at some point, it just becomes insulting when that happens.
I want to throw something out there. I'm not saying I agree with it, but do you think it's possible that he doesn't have many policies that would be pro-black because that would distance him from his bigger base? I mean, we are a minority group.
Of course, but that's the issue, is that as the leader of the Republican Party, he is supposed to lead them towards reparations. As the leader of the Republican Party, he's supposed to make the case to them about why it is we got to bring black folks into the fold. So understand something. A lot of folks get messed about this. Oh, this is the party's base and this is their ideology. If you're the leader of the party, you're supposed to be an advocate. So if you want the black vote, you have to be an advocate for us. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of anti-black folk over here. You just get over there and get them on code. Get over there and get them in line. That's your job as the leader of the party, is to tell them, hey, this is the direction we're going in. This is what we need to do. That's what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, I'm just a guy hosting an internet program, and I do this every week. That's supposed to be these guys' job in their profession. If it's not getting at the highest levels with the highest funding, if it's not getting done, that's not because it's an accident. If it's not getting done, it's because they made the calculation, yeah, we do this for folks, just not for you. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 702. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Leon calling from Las Vegas, Jason.
All right, Leon from Vegas, what's on your mind?
Brother, you have told us before, white supremacy plays both sides. Everybody calling up, I just got one thing to say, follow the money. All the billionaires, all the Jewish billionaires leaving Biden and lining up behind Trump. Bill Ackman, when you got Bill Ackman leaving the Democratic Party, billionaire, and said he's voting for Trump, when you got Marianne Allison, if you don't know who she is, worth $30 billion. Her husband was Sheldon Allison, who passed away. They own the Las Vegas Sands, the Venetian, the Palazzo, all the hotels, and she's willing to give $100 million to Trump. You got to ask yourself, why all these people lining up? Netanyahu is coming over here next week to back Trump. Trump is not going to jail. So all this little fantasy world about what's going to probably happen is Bragg is going, a woman is going to pop out of his past.
Well, certainly.
And he's going to be gone.
Y'all saw what they did to Fannie the Mammy down there in Georgia. It took them absolutely 2 seconds to get some dirt on her. I'll let you have the last word.
Yep, and hello?
Yes, sir. I'll let you have the last word. Go ahead.
Yeah, that, and, Trump is going to be elected, and we need to get on board and try to see what's good for black people, okay? Because he's in there. The people that's in power, that surrounds power, they want him, and not Biden.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get back over here on Zoom. I think we got Denise up on Zoom. All right, Denise.
Yes. I'm here. I finally made it.
All right, Denise on Zoom. And what is on your mind?
I would just like to say, I don't think that Trump is done. If he was smart, he'd make a couple of moves that would attempt to, bring in more votes from the black community. Personally, that would.
You have your audio on over there, Denise. You need to turn it off. I'll give you a couple of seconds here, but you got to turn it off for us. You have your audio on over there, Denise. You need to turn it off.
Okay.
I'll give you a couple of seconds here, but you got to turn it off. Okay, Denise is trying to figure out how to get that newfangled technology together here.
Yes, I am. Give me just a second. I'm trying to mute you there and do something else.
Okay, ma'am. She is slowing down the world over here.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can pass me by. If you can get back at me, get back at me.
Okay, because she needs to. I don't know if you have like speakers on or something.
Okay.
Sounds like she might have fixed that. I'm not sure, but go ahead, make your comment, Denise, and I'll move on.
Okay. Like I was saying, I think that he has possibilities. For one, he has the state appeals process, and he can escalate it to the Supreme Court, which he has a good majority of allies on. So I think even though everybody's screaming for, accountability and punishment, I personally don't think it's going to happen, but I'm voting for the couch, except for my local county and state elections, and I'm in Colorado.
Okay, well, heavily Democrat area in some places out there, but thank you very much for giving us a call. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get back to the phone lines here. Let me get caller from area code 501. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason, it's Jay from Flint.
All right, Jay from Flint. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man, I just had to had a question for you about this. Just get some clarification on the discussion. So, do you think that for this election season that Trump's choices are going to be president or prison?
At this point right now, yes. I'm not.
Wow.
I am not. I am not of the camp that thinks that this is some trolling thing right here. I know a lot of folks, they're kind of just distanced from reality, or they don't take these things seriously. They see all this stuff as a game. Anything on a screen, whether it's a TV screen, laptop, cell phone screen, is entertainment to them. So that's why you see so many folk out here passing around videos of folks, getting hit by cars and things. They just become desensitized to an actual juvenile's point. I don't believe that's what's happening. I think that I don't believe that Alvin Bragg and Judge Marchand went, and the legislature in New York, I don't think they went this far to annoy him. They went this far to run, catch, and kill. They're not thinking about tomorrow or the consequences of it. I don't think they did this to annoy him or to bruise him. I think they did this to take him out because that's New York politics. He's too difficult to deal with, and they're not going to do what's necessary to beat him at the polls. So we're doing some New York stuff now.
Most definitely so. So let me ask you this, though, and I'll go ahead and let you go ahead and go on this one. Do you think that in this situation with this dynamic, if the white supremacist is understanding how serious this is now, that that Donald Trump can actually go to prison? Do you think that if Trump was to come out and finally offer us something, offer us reparations, because that's the only thing that's on the table right now, offer us to do reparations for us, that he would inversely lose his white supporter base off of that, and he would still lose? Or do you think that they would just have to get behind it because he's behind it, because now of the seriousness of the situation? Because it's only seeming like black people are the only ones that can save him right now, because they're only just trying to guilt him over things he said and his supposed racism that he's done. No, but if we step on out into the forefront and say no, you know what though, we're gonna let that one go this time. The liberals, they have no choice but to go ahead and just shut up and sit down off of that.
Well, like I say, definitely the base, you have to drag them kicking and screaming. And that's something you have to do ahead of time. But the Republicans want to have it both ways. They want to deal with a country that's becoming less Anglo and at the same time do nothing. So you have a party that's just in denial of demographics. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. You've gotten as much traction out of the white population as you're going to get. You've gotten as much as you're going to get in this idea that you can just be benevolently neglectful. That's not going to work either. It's not going to work for you. So that was the past. It's not the present. All right, let me get back over here on Zoom if I can. Let me find out here. iPhone user, what is your name, brother? Okay. folks, they got the 1,000 yards there. This newfangled technology. I just don't know what to do. Okay, so all right, this Zoom is not working out so well here tonight. Everybody is testing out their technology for the very first time. Sir, you are on, but he probably doesn't hear anything. The grandkids got me this phone here. Heard this Zoom thing on Zoom. I'm not sure which one of these buttons you press again. Back when I was dating Lauryn Hill back in the 90s, it wasn't this complicated. We had different phones back then. All right, brother. He is in. He is out. He don't know where he's going. He don't know what he's doing. So let me go ahead and leave that alone. Let me get caller from area code 757. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Brandon from Morehead City, North Carolina.
Okay. What's that name again?
Brandon.
All right, Brandon. And where are you calling from?
Morehead City, North Carolina.
All right, Brandon from Morehead City. What's on your mind?
Me personally, I don't think the case is really going to sway voters, being that it's a in-house issue dealing with a man and his wife that ain't too much did nothing with Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton situation. It's going to deal with kitchen table issues, the economy, the gas prices, the food. And a lot of the black people are saying, okay, with Trump, I had a little more money in my pocket compared to Biden. Now, I ain't voting for neither one of them. I don't believe in running from one plantation to the next. They're just idiotic. But from what I'm seeing, I'm even seeing black people that's ex-felons that's upset coming out saying, yeah, look how they doing Trump. Where have you ever seen somebody get convicted with all 35? So I know people because I'm from Morehead City, North Carolina, but I'm living in Richmond, Virginia. And there's people that's registered to vote for Trump and ain't never voted before. So with that, the money raising, I believe Trump still got a good chance to win it. He still got, like previous caller said, he can push it off to state and then to the Supreme Court. But I also wanted to ask you this, my brother. If we all know that corporations run the nation, why don't we take the fight to them? And I got an example that I want to express. When
we'll make it a brief. Make it a brief one here. We got a bunch of folk on the line, so give us the quick version.
Yeah, it's very brief. It's very brief. It's a very brief example. It's very brief. It's not gonna take long at all. When Juneteenth came out, Walmart did Juneteenth ice cream. Black Americans got upset with it. It was a backlash. Walmart came out, apologized, snatched it off the shelf. So that power of the thought of a backlash of us taking our dollar back, they apologize. So why don't we take our fight to them?
I mean, well, you just gave an example of taking the fight to them, but you also highlighted the element that's missing. We have to be more strategic at these things. So what needs to happen is Walmart can sell all the Juneteenth ice cream it wants to, but what we should be doing is flexing to say, okay, how much of that you gonna give us ownership of? On account of the fact you using our holiday here, we need to be having some ownership of this. So I would not be fighting so much to get them to take it off the shelf. I'm like, okay, if you gonna do that, then you gonna need to go ahead and break bread on that. You're not gonna sit up here and just capitalize on that. If you're gonna do that, if we're gonna apply pressure, we should be applying pressure for ownership. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. If you're gonna make that move, the power move is, okay, I couldn't help but notice y'all got this ice cream up here on the shelf and we don't own none of it. No. It can stay on the shelf, but we need to discuss our ownership. We need to discuss that. Who'd you get this from? Where'd you get this from? Oh, y'all make it? That's perfectly fine. You need to do like these other folks. You need to set us up under that. White kids can get venture capital. Oh, let me go ahead and take y'all deep into it. We'll not discuss reparations across the board because what he's saying is a good idea, but you have to implement it correctly. If these folks can sit up here and set up white kids, they can sit up here and set up white kids. They get venture capital. Why is it okay if it's time to start selling ice cream and this, that, and the other? You need to have some black folks that you're setting up. And I'm talking about black folk from our lineage. You're not going to go grab a Candace Owens and say, okay, we're going to give it to her. No, if you're going to apply the pressure, that's how you apply the pressure. You do it for that. You tell them, no, we're going to keep the ice cream on the shelf and you're going to break us off some ownership on account of the fact you capitalizing on that. And that's what it's going to be going forward. Then from there, when 4th of July comes around, From there, when 4th of July comes around, then you can start having your special branded stuff, and that's how you've gotten your way up in there. By the time you get to Thanksgiving and Christmas, we got Black Santa. And we supposed to be owning that, and Walmart's just going to facilitate that. That's the kind of move you should be thinking to make in that regard. Don't let them sit up here and take nothing off the shelf. It's like, no, it's going to stay on the shelf, and you going to break off your piece is what you're going to do. Y'all set these white kids up and make sure they straight. Mr. Beast, the YouTuber Mr. Beast, is now his candy is carried in every damn Walmart in this country right now. You want to talk about setting them up? Mr. Beast, who already makes millions and millions of dollars on YouTube, as YouTube suppresses us, by the way. He makes millions of dollars on YouTube. Not no little old money from a super chat. They made sure that he gets big advertising dollars. He gets millions and millions of dollars. He's got that Beast Burgers thing, and now Walmart has stepped in and said, you know what? You ain't rich enough. We need to make sure that you are light years ahead than black folk around you. We're going to have your Beast candy, Beast bars or whatever, from a company called Beastables as opposed to Feastables. Yeah, we got you in the shelf here. That's what you're going to do. Okay, then you need to break that deal off for us. You did it for Mr. Beast. You did it for all these other folk over here. You do it in the cities when you try to do it with Latinos. You're doing that over there. Y'all need to break that off for us. And if there isn't a black company and there's always a black company to buy from, by the way, that's a damn lie. But if there isn't one, y'all need to go ahead and apply the pressure. You need to go ahead and set that up, and we'll go ahead and run that. On account of the fact that's what you do with the white kids. That's what you do with the white kids. So if I'm running it, if I'm doing the damn thing, that's the direction I'm going in. That's the angle I'm coming at it from, if it's me. Let me get caller from area code 720. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Jack out of Seattle.
Okay, Jack out of Seattle. What's on your mind?
Hey, I just wanted to talk about, it was a dude that called earlier, and he was talking about something about immigrants, illegals getting sent back to wherever, and that's why he voting for Trump. And I'm just like, what? I don't know if he's on the East Coast or something like that, but out here, out west, in Seattle, the Pacific Northwest, Portland, you know what I'm saying? Like, these Mexicans, they ain't going nowhere. Like, I'm a truck driver. And when I go to Idaho, Utah, Washington State, Oregon, I see illegals everywhere, immigrants everywhere, building homes in Utah, building homes in Idaho. And I mean, these are Republican-ran states. So I'm not sure what is he talking about that he thinks that Donald Trump is he gonna get rid of all these Mexicans and it's just gonna be over. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't know where that narrative is coming from. That
I mean, in a lot of regards, I think that, and you make a very good point. I think that people are, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of overblowing about how feasible that is, and I think there's a lot of overstatement. So I can understand why people would want that, because certainly I agree with it. But you do make a very good, valid point there. What is the feasibility of actually being able to do something like that at the levels that the people voting for him would expect? Now, there is one thing that you probably will get, which is the completion of the wall on the Mexican border. Now, that you can get, the completion of it. But there's a problem with that, too. Jason, what's the problem? The next Kamami Harris you get up in there will sit up here and start knocking the damn wall down. So there's where that becomes a tricky situation in that regard. So you do raise a very good point. I think some folks may overstate or overestimate the results that they would expect to get. I'll let you have the last word.
Like we know they ain't going nowhere. Like when you and also when you hear all these people talk about, illegal immigrants getting flooded in. You notice it's only a certain amount of governors who really support that. Like the Republican governors up in Montana, Idaho, Utah, you know what I'm saying? You never hear them say anything about illegals or immigrants. They keep their mouths closed because they know who they got building their homes. They know who they got building these roads and everything. And just my last point. If you go up to Salt Lake City, it ain't a lot of black folks up there, but it's a lot of Africans. It's a lot of Africans and a lot of Mexican immigrants. And if you go up there, you'll see a lot of these Africans and Mexicans living out of hotels, and they get picked up every morning, and they get picked up by a white man, and they go build these subdivisions and all this other shit. A lot of these people don't got papers, and I know they illegal. So
when
that's
they
all
pay for those things, agriculture, construction, and whatnot. If you want to shut this off, you don't need the federal government. At the state level, they could take these folks. What they do to black men, asset forfeiture. Yeah, do it like you did the war on drugs, and the laws are already there for it. But you make a good point. I mean, it's not because they can; it's because they won't. You would have to go grab a bunch of white men. We covered this even in Ron DeSantis' Florida. They can shut this down at the state level. The white men who employ these folks, you come and grab their licenses, you come and grab their businesses, you come and grab their property, you come and grab all that. You do that, and that's how you resolve that. And this is in every state. This happens in every state. This happens at every level. That's how you would fix that. But that would require you prosecuting them the way you did black folk. Remember, every time it's time to show up and mass incarcerate white people or to mass do anything to white people other than enrich them, all of a sudden folks slam on the brakes. Now, they were doing it to you just fine for decades. That was okay. They could do it to you just fine for decades. But when it's time for you to say, you know what, that solution would work for this stuff y'all claim you're against, they're for it right up until you get to that part. That's why you hear a conversation about the Mexican border, but you see conversations in the state level about DEI and all this garbage, but you don't hear them taking these Republican governors to task, talking about, hey, by the way, why are you not doing asset forfeiture on these people? Why are you not going and seizing their farms, seizing their chicken plants, seizing their food refineries, seizing their automotive systems? Why don't you go and get that? Because asset forfeiture is already allowed here. Why are you not? Well, you're only doing that to the Negroes. Why are you not doing it to these guys over here? Why are you not doing it to them? And if you haven't, why not? Good point to remember. Caller from area code 504. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Q. I'm calling from New Orleans. How are you, man?
Okay, Q. Did you say Q from New Orleans?
Yes. Can you hear me?
All right, Q from New Orleans. What's on your mind?
I want to give a twist on this appeal with Donald Trump. Once this thing gets to the Supreme Court, which a lot of people don't want to discuss, they're going to strip this thing naked. He doesn't need any allies on the Supreme Court for basic principles of law. If you just make a simple note, mens rea, that's MENS, and then REA, that is a state of mind. They're literally trying to prove that he had the criminal intent to do a certain thing. There are so many precedent cases that have been overturned by the Supreme Court, I've lost count. That's one. Then there's the duplicity doctrine. It's kind of the relative of double jeopardy, but not so much like double jeopardy. To give you a better idea, if I'm trying to shoot you to kill you, and I don't kill you, and I shoot you 7 times, do they charge you with 7 counts of attempted murder, or do they charge you with attempted murder? How many people is Donald Trump trying to bribe? 34 or 1?
Yeah, I mean, you make a very good point, is that the judge allowed a bunch of things that, he allowed a bunch of things that we can't even really call it novel legal concepts, although black folk have had that kind of stuff used against them for decades, where folks just make up the rules as they go along. So certainly, it doesn't require, the bottom line is they changed the law up there to allow them to do this in the first damn place because you're after one person. However, I do remind people, that's what they did in California for Michael Jackson. That's what they did in Pennsylvania with Bill Cosby. So all of a sudden, we start changing laws, changing rules to go after one person. Maybe now that folks have seen this type of abuse happen here, and that they'll stop saying, oh, well, they're going after the Negroes, so that's okay, because they all know, wink, wink, they're going after, wink, wink, Michael Jackson. No, you mean they're going after Negroes. Now that you see a white man caught in it, I have a feeling they're going to do the Sarah Palin treatment and then sit up here and say, okay, well, even white kids have teen babies. Everybody does that. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller America code 470. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Mr. Black. This is Mr. Bowden calling you live tonight from Rome, Georgia.
All right, Mr. Bowden from Rome, Georgia. What's on your mind?
Hey, yeah, I'm actually here in the city where Trump had his rally, where he ended up sending that roast out to Megyn Kelly that time. So, but anyway, I want to just respond to the question of the topic tonight. Is this the end for Trump? And my answer is no, because what I want to see is if it's really going to be the end of Trump, then I would like to see if they're going to put an end to Brett Favre and also put an end to Vince McMahon on the things that they've been accused of.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, certainly he has plenty of company in that regard. So if he is there, he shouldn't be by himself. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Want to send a shout out here to everybody here who's contributed on PayPal, Venmo, Super Chat to support tonight's program. We appreciate that. Mark B, Chadwick, Mr. Waits, Wilburn, Najee, and Mr. Lucas, and everybody else here. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. We got a lot going on in this regard here on Zoom. I'm going to try one more person because folks seem to be having slow service here tonight or whatever. So Gregory on Zoom. Not sure what's going on there, but Gregory was on Zoom. He didn't have his camera on, so we're going to just drop Zoom here for the night. So we're going to go ahead and let Zoom go for the night for everybody. Might do this again sometime, who knows? I usually don't. Let me get caller from area code 215. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up with you, Jason? This hashtag New Reconstruction. I'm out here in Philly.
All right, New Reconstruction in Philadelphia. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, look, I feel like this is a very, very pivotal election here in 2024, especially for the black man. The black man in particular, who is and should be the head of the household and essentially the fabric of the community. And we already know what the status of that situation is. So my whole plight in this election cycle is to sustain by any means necessary and primarily by my vote all anti-slavery laws, all anti-white on black terrorism law, all sundown town law, anti-sundown town law, and that's the Second Amendment. So the Second Amendment, we have to have anybody who is trying to put restrictions or constraints on the Second Amendment is the enemy of the black community, period. And we already have clear examples of that with Tulsa and every other highlighted era of the black existence here in America. So what we need to do is point out anybody who is opposing any part of the Second Amendment. Now, to move forward, I'm going to vote for school choice. I'm going to vote against trans in sports. I'm going to vote for secure borders, 100% secure borders if possible. I'm going to vote to bring back a robust economy where I was making more money with my business, and prices have more than doubled, almost tripled for everything.
Well,
All
certainly there
manufacturers and
is an
distributors,
element to
prices are
that.
up.
The issue that we run into there is, the Second Amendment's a wonderful thing, and certainly you all know I support that, absolutely. Here's the issue. The issue is everybody else gets on code when you talk about gun control when it's about controlling us. And for all those things you just named, that's all great and wonderful too, as long as we're allowed to be a part of that. There's where things tend to get, a little bit sticky there and tend to get a little bit difficult. Last but not least, even under Trump's presidency, we were still not getting what we're supposed to be getting. There's the real problem that we run into is, was it doing better for some folks than others? Sure. But if we're still not catching up to get what we're supposed to be getting, if we're still getting only a fifth of what we're supposed to be, of 5% of what we're supposed to be getting, everybody else to get more, all those things are wonderful, but what good does it do you? So certainly some of the chicanery going on at the schools and things, but please understand, for the majority, like for white society, they put their kids in charter schools and private schools. It's our kids sitting there at the public schools, for example. And then it comes to the next question of how did that happen? Well, that's not a federal government thing. That's at the local level. So the real thing is, okay, what's going on in the city that allows that? Because sad to say here, folks in Chicago can complain about the illegals all they want to. If Brandon Johnson comes up for re-election and the issue on the ballot is not getting rid of these illegals in Chicago, and you re-elect him or elect somebody like him who does not come to the table with a platform that says this is what we're going to do specifically about this issue, that's a big difference right there. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Now, let me get a caller from area code 510. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's August from Oakland, and the phone is not going to get cut off. I'm off of the soul plane. I'm waiting on my layover. Everything.
I'm very glad Captain Snoop Dogg has let you off. We appreciate that. What's on your mind?
Okay, so I just had something to say to you and the followers to keep the other family in the chat that keeps bringing up the Central Park 5 as their knock on Trump. Let me tell you something. If I was a billionaire black man and a black woman was raped and murdered at Lake Merritt and the suspects were 4 or 5 white boys, I too would have put a billboard up that said, "Get them crackers the death penalty." So because you would have
been wrong.
Okay, but I'm saying, is it so bad?
Wow. Okay,
those people are innocent until proven guilty. But is that enough? Is that enough to thus ostracize me from society for the rest of my life, where I can't?
Okay, but sir, here's the difference. White supremacy is systemic. If you were a black billionaire, okay, sir, calm down. White supremacy is systemic. Even if the roles were reversed and you were a black billionaire who had the ability to do what Trump did, that wouldn't be black supremacy. That'd be one black dude. What happened to the Central Park 5 was systemic, and Trump participated in a systemic event. So even if we attempted to make some equivalence between you and Trump trading places, it still wouldn't be the same thing, not even remotely.
Okay. I respect that, and I get what you're saying. But can we please, at this point, since I just made that point, and people can agree or disagree because I'm not white, it doesn't mean the same thing and all that. But at some point, we got to get down to the politics. These are both two rich white dudes. Let's cancel out the supposed racism and let's talk about who was a better president. Let's talk about 40 years of Biden in Congress. Trump never made no laws that were anti-black. I'll even go as far as to say it's a lot of black folks in this chat that never had $1,000 until COVID, when all that money came into the hood.
Sir, you're thinking about somebody else's audience, not mine. You're thinking about somebody else's audience, not mine.
Okay,
but by the way, I thought that was an interesting phraseology that you used when you said, let's put the racism to the side and discuss who was the better president. I find that to be that's a very interesting request to make.
Okay.
Explain to me exactly how we, quote, put somebody's racism to the side in the process of choosing them to have authority over us. Explain to me how that works.
Because I think most of us can agree that rich white men all harbored the same prejudices against black folks. At what point we have to just eliminate all white men from the presidency?
No, sir. No, sir. That's not the right thing. No. You say all rich white men have anti-black animosity. Absolutely. All white men with anti-black animosity. We're not choosing them to have authority over us.
Yeah, but if that's what my point is, there ain't no white man that we can elect that's not going to harbor anti-black racism. There's not going to, just like I have my own white racism. I can't be racist. We know racism involves power. But I'm saying I got my personal opinions about white people. I got my personal opinions about Mexicans. I got my personal opinion about Indian people. I got all kind of racial opinions because I'm a human and I live in the United States.
Brother, let me find out how old are you, brother? How old are you?
I'm 40. I'm 41 years old.
Where you got on the airplane? Where'd you get on the airplane at?
I just left Atlanta. I'm on my way back to Oakland. I'm on a layover in Dallas right now.
Okay, so you're actually from California.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Raised in a Black Panther household, all that.
Okay, brother.
Been through the system, all that shit.
I'm just saying some of this is starting to smell real Fox Newsy here. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's starting to smell Fox Newsy.
Because in my advanced political views that I haven't just started following politics when Trump and Obama got elected. I've been following politics my whole life. I'm from California, where they built 40 prisons for the crime, when the crime bill in Clinton, when that came out, they built 40 prisons all through the Central Valley.
Okay, but we're discussing putting somebody's anti-black racism to the side. And what I'm saying is, okay, let's leave the presidency out of it. Please name for me another area of society where you would apply that same rule to say, hey, Jason, put the man's anti-black racism to the side and consider these other things about him. Give me another part of society.
I'll give you a perfect example. Every single time I walked up in San Quentin or Santa Rita, and we're not really Santa Rita, but once you get to San Quentin, the prison, you might be in a bunk right next to somebody that got a swastika on his forehead, and ain't no black folks busting a grape on his ass. You know why? Because it's about respect. Oh, you're a soldier for white supremacy? I respect that because I'm a soldier for black supremacy. Now, we might have to fight one day or kill each other, but the same views I have, I'm not mad at nobody else.
Okay, brother, you're not even making a comparison here. So let me see if I can try this again. Can you name for me another area in society where a white person that you're choosing to have authority over you would say, well, let me disregard his racist views or racist philosophies? Give me another one besides the president.
We do it every day because we already established that all these white folks got something against us. Every single fucking white politician on earth, I have to assume that he don't like me on the under. Every single one of them.
Okay, but sir, even in those situations, we do, in a lot of cases, have the option of leaving, but none of us choose that person. None of us select them knowing that that's what it is. So you're talking about you can assume it. The problem with Biden and Trump is that the fallacy you're making is there's no assumption there. We know this.
Right, but whose policies, what one policy did Trump ever make that was anti-black? Name one. That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen
Okay,
him exercise
sir,
this
that's great.
anti-black racism.
Show
other
me
than
the
pandering to his base.
sir. So I would submit to you that not having a black agenda is anti-black.
Okay. I'm ready for the black agenda too. But I'm just saying on the basis of, I'm looking at kind of that COVID relief money as a kind of a black agenda again, because I saw people who ain't never paid rent before buying diamond grills and going around the world and traveling and stuff like that. Now, were they supposed to mess their money off like that? No, but I've never
Okay,
seen
brother,
more
and
money
you,
in
and
the
sir,
hood
you
than
saw
with
white
Trump
and you saw
or-
white folks shooting up meth and taking prescription pills. So what's your point?
My point is,
Yeah, when
sir,
folks try to bring up
and
that
with all
black
due
folk
respect,
tricking off their money thing, by the way, we had plenty of white folks sitting up here buying meth, buying opioids, getting heroin, buying hookers and prostitutes, tricking off their money too. And nobody raises that as a negative for them. It's only when it gets to black folk, all of a sudden, ooh, well, y'all, they was misusing the money. Okay, and these other folks.
I didn't say it is negative. I'm saying they got to do stuff that they never done. They never was able to do these things. I'm not saying traveling is negative or buying jewelry. I'm saying they never got to do it until Trump was president.
Brother,
Also,
and you're saying that that's the accolade there. What about the folk who are going to say that Biden forgave their student loan debts and that that's more important to them?
Because that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit.
Okay,
but,
so
one more thing and I'll land.
PPP loans were legit, but forgiving people's student loan debt is irrelevant.
I think that's a whole nother conversation.
No, it's not, sir. If you're gonna
one
play the game of this president is throwing out money to people, okay, and Biden is forgiving their student loan debts. And sir, I
didn't have a student loan. It didn't affect me.
Okay, and sir, I didn't need any COVID money either.
Okay, under what presidency in your whole life have you seen police officers going to jail for killing black folks? That was during the Trump administration. I've seen about 15 cops get 20-year sentences, and I've never seen it in my life.
Okay,
Obama,
sir,
Tamir Rice,
sir, are you trying to say that the police officers, the Trump Justice Department was prosecuting police officers?
No, I'm trying
okay,
to
thank
say
you.
that
Okay, then you can't give him credit for that. But you can't. Wow, you're gonna give. So you're gonna give the political climate Trump credit for the political climate. Now you're trying to say that that's his.
Not directly, but it was an indirect cause of his everybody the I hate Trump, fuck Donald Trump and all that shit. That was the catalyst for arresting cops. That was the catalyst for
so you're an advocate. So you're an advocate of, well, you know what, Jason, let me make a connection between these two completely separate things and then claim that they are somehow correlated. So that's what you're saying.
I'm just glad it happened. I don't know.
But what you cannot, that was
Trump playing the whole time.
Sir, you're saying that Trump is responsible for a political climate of prosecuting police officers? Dude, how?
Directly or indirectly, it was because we have the proof. We got a bunch of cops. We got Chauvin for one. We got a bunch of people that went to jail.
We got Chauvin. Excuse me,
Obama was president.
Sir.
Nobody went to jail when Obama was president. Or when Bush, or when Clinton,
sir,
or when
what year did Derek Chauvin get convicted?
Would we already get arrested or convicted?
Okay, y'all. Now he's playing dumb about hearing me. He heard what the hell I said. What year did he get convicted?
I don't know the answer either way. I don't know the answer either way. I don't remember what year it was. I just know all the turn-ups was going on during the Trump's presidency.
If Chauvin got convicted after Trump left office, you're still going to give Trump credit for that, for changing the environment.
I'm not giving him just
when Trump was advocating arresting the black folk who were out in the street, by the way.
Well, he definitely passed that one. What's that reform bill? I can't remember the name of it. He did pass a reform bill about the police. He put it on his desk that he could have vetoed, and he passed that shit.
So there's been no police reform anything. There's been no police reform anything, sir. Let's not make things up. You can't think it up because you saw it. You can't think it up because you remember Congress passing it and then you woke up out of your sleep. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, he can't remember the name of it because he remembers it. He saw it. He's watching CNN while it happened, and then he woke up from his dream. Y'all, he just said COVID checks was something for black folk. That is a benefit for black folk. COVID checks, are you serious? Folks, what the hell what did all of y'all do with that little old $1,500? What the hell did you do with that little old $1,500? Folks acting like people were out here damn me buying mansions or something. What the hell? Even if you got $2,500 or $3,000, what the hell you did with that? What the hell did you do with $2,000 or $3,000? What the hell is that? How long is $2,000 or $3,000 supposed to float you? If you got that much, because most people got closer to $1,500. I mean, between $1,000 and $1,500. Some of y'all didn't get nothing at all. Well, how long is that supposed to float you? You had to, that $2,000, man, you could swing around the world with he's something. You got to do things you never got to do before. It's nigga, for what? The $1,200, man, you could do a whole lot with. Y'all got to go see things you never got to see for $1,200, man. Are you serious?
Nigga, please.
Come on now. Call from area code 951. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Call from area code 951. You're on live. Let's try.
Hi, my name is Lul, calling from Riverside, California.
Okay, your name is what, sir?
Lou.
Okay, Lou from Riverside. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm not an FBA. I'm actually from the continent. So my question is, like, a lot of the previous callers, like most of them have grievances with the Democratic Party. So like, what's the plan? So we have two candidates. It's either going to be Donald Trump or Joe Biden. So the FBA's plan is just to sit it out, or to look for a third party. You know, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Why?
Why?
Why does it matter to you?
Well, it matters to me because, I mean, there's a lot at stake. I personally was, voting for a candidate that was rooting for reparations and somebody that could be persuaded to our agenda, me being an immigrant as well.
Okay,
so I don't think,
well, sir, slow down. Reparations, you said you voted for a candidate who favored reparations, correct?
Well, so...
okay, sir, that's what you just said. Yes or no? You just said that you were backing a candidate who supported reparations, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Why would that be important to you? You're not eligible.
I understand. Oh, well, because, you know...
who was the candidate?
That I voted for was Marianne Williamson. She was...
Nigga, please.
She had... she had the...
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go.
But I mean, I'm not gonna vote for her on the final right now, because I'll be, voting for Joe Biden.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't want Donald Trump.
Of course you would. You're voting for your lineage and your people. You're not voting for black folk. You're voting for where you come from. So you're voting personal there. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When you get on the phone here, well, what do you care what we're doing? What y'all doing over there? Say, well, you're not with us anyway, so why is it important to you?
Well, I mean, we're as a collective, as black people, right? Even though I'm not FBA, I'm still black. I have to exist in America.
You're neither talking like it nor acting like it there, because the issue here is that Joe Biden is undermining our agenda. There isn't anything, there is nothing about Joe Biden that is pro-black, period.
So, I mean, if I had a choice, I would go with either Dr. Cornel West or Jill Stein.
Okay, and none of them
they,
none of them support reparations either. Now, why would you
they
vote?
do.
Tell
Actually,
me,
Jill
no,
Stein-
sir, no,
Jill-
sir, no, no.
If you go on Jill Stein's
No,
website,
sir.
it says that she'll give a minimum of $12 trillion for reparation.
Okay,
That's the
you
minimum.
just named Mary Ann Williamson and Cornel West.
Well, what I'm saying is,
Wow. Okay, sir. See, here's the issue we have right
Can
here.
I-
Why is it you all
Sorry,
can't?
I'm not trying-
Everything doesn't have to be a scam, man. You can answer. You all can answer a straight question. Everything doesn't have to be a scam and a grift, and we lying all the damn time. It doesn't have to be this pathological
Sure, I'm not
lying.
trying to-
It doesn't
I'm
have
not
to
trying
be that all
I'm
the
not
time.
I'm not trying to scam you. I'm just trying to have a conversation.
Okay, sir, you
know,
already you
I-
named the candidates that you meant, and then you're gonna jump off and talk about Jill Stein. No, sir, you named Mary Ann Williamson, Cornel West, and Joe Biden. Now we're gonna stick to Joe Biden for a few moments here. What rational reason would we have for supporting Joe Biden?
Well, I mean, Joe Biden would be a little bit more. I'm just gonna be, upfront with you. I'm not really enthused about Joe Biden. You know, he hasn't done, anything. Well, at least at the service level, but he's much more persuadable in FBA or Black people's agenda than the racist piece of shit Donald Trump.
Okay, show me what part. So first of all, how old are you?
I'm 36 years old.
Okay.
And I became a US citizen
Joe Biden
2
has
years
been
ago.
Joe, 2 years too soon. Joe Biden has been president now for 3 years, going on 4 years.
Correct.
What has he done for for Black folk specifically in 4 years that has you so encouraged?
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm not too enthusiastic about him, but at least he's kind of trying with the limited amount of, with the House, the Congress, the support that he has.
Okay, sir. No.
Like I said,
You
I'm
just
not
claimed
sold
that he
on
would
him
be
at all.
more persuadable. Tell us what he has done.
Correct.
Tell us what he's
Well,
done
I mean,
second try.
For instance, like with regards to the police misconduct, what's her name? Kristen Clark from Attorney General's office. She went after a lot of these police officers.
No,
and stuff
she
like that.
didn't.
That's a huge
No,
thing.
she didn't, sir. You're lying. And just like Kristen, you all don't come from our lineage. The first thing y'all start doing is lying. Kristen Clark did not do that. As a matter of fact, Kristen Clark dropped cases. Case in point, Carolyn Bryant, the mother of white supremacy, who got Emmett Till killed. Kristen Clark dropped that case. Yikes! There you go. Oh, there it is.
Can I say something?
Oh,
can I say something?
Now, folks, do you hear that? And he's just, well, let me talk right past that right there. Okay. Now, at that point there, you're supposed to be quiet and be like, oh, hell, I got my ass handed to me. Nope. He's going to sit up here and try to redeem it.
I'm just trying to say, like, I'm not, I don't hate the FBA. I don't hate American Black people. I'm
But
rooting,
you're
for everybody
but you're not with us because you've already said what it is. Your whole thing is that Joe Biden's letting a bunch of your people over here illegally, and you've only been here for 24 months. So yes, the president who's allowing to sit up and come over here, that's what you're doing.
Can I say something? I actually came here to the U.S. in 2003. I got my green card in 2016, and then I had to wait 5 more years to become a U.S. citizen.
Sir,
so I became a U.S.
That's
citizen.
a long
after
time
18
to.
years.
That's a long time to be over here. Sounds like you were very illegal.
No, I was legal. I actually went through my dad's employment. His employers petitioned for us. But the immigration system was kind of
you're over here illegally, and you just resided.
No, I promise.
You resided. You were residing over here, sir. You were over here illegally.
No.
Oh, we'll apply for it over here. You were supposed to be applying for it where you were, not here.
No. So what happened was my dad got a job.
Okay, folks, we know he was here illegally because he's telling you that he had to apply for citizenship. Now that tells you that neither
No,
of his
he
sir,
didn't apply
sir, you're going to
the
be quiet
company.
now, or I'm going to quiet you. You will not talk over the host. You know that he was here illegally because he said that he had to apply for citizenship. That tells you that neither of his parents were citizens, therefore he couldn't be naturalized. He wasn't born in the United States, and yet he came to U.S. soil and, according to him, sat here for over a decade. You were illegal.
So the way, I mean, I can explain to you how it
You
is,
ain't gonna explain
and,
a
I mean,
damn.
you can
You're
tell me
not gonna
if
explain a damn thing to me. You were
my
an
dad-
illegal, and that's why you want Joe Biden because, well, that's the president for the illegals. He don't care what's going on. Well, that 94 crime bill, that was just him going at you Akatas over there. But for the rest of us, he gonna let us over here so that we don't have to sit up here and eat dirt sandwiches no more. Okay, fine. But by the way, don't sit up here and lie about what your motives are.
What are my motives, sir? I don't know why you're upset. I was just trying to, have a conversation. I'm just, I came here with my parents, and my dad's employers petitioned for us while we were back home. So he got a job already when we came over here, and then they started the process for the you have to be here to actually process
folks,
the green card. You cannot be
folks
in your
when
outside country.
They doing illegal stuff, and they're voting for more of the same. That's why he supports Biden. He can't name anything. He literally can't name anything.
I mean, he's not perfect. Like I said, I'm not too enthusiastic about him. But I'm not going to sit here and say.
But the one thing he does do,
Trump.
he hasn't done anything for us, the descendants of the slaves. He hasn't done anything for us, nothing at all.
Who did?
But you can name what
he's.
Joe Biden has done absolutely nothing for us, but you can name what he's done for yours. Now that you can. That you can.
No, nothing. He hasn't done nothing.
And
for
that's
me.
the only thing that you're supporting him for is, hey, they gonna do more for us
he hasn't
here.
done nothing for me though.
Then,
I became a
why
US
would
citizen
then
after
there's no
18
reason
years.
to then what's the reason to support him then? You just say he's done nothing for you. Okay, then what the hell kind of insanity is that to support him?
Well, because we have two choices, right? And one of the president or one of the person that holds the power can be persuaded, can be petitioned, can be lobbied. The other one is like, no, I only work for white supremacists only. I don't care about none of you, colored, blacks, immigrants, and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's only two choices that we have. So I'm kind of stuck. Well, I mean, we can do, like a third party as a collective, like to kind of protest vote. But the numbers are showing that if we do that, we actually
okay, sir. The problem with what you just said is that you've already conceded that we can persuade Joe Biden, but Joe Biden is more persuadable for a black agenda.
Correct. Yes. Well, I mean, yeah, right. Compared to Donald Trump, I think that's what I was trying to mean.
Yeah, and when we ask you where's your proof of that, and you can't name a single thing. So all that leaves is, by the way, he lets us illegals over. So we're pro that. You claim that there's something there, but you can't name what it is.
I don't understand where you're calling me. I don't understand why you're
Sir,
calling me illegal.
Claim that you claim Joe Biden has some black credentials that we should be supporting, and yet you can't name what it is.
I mean,
show us his accomplishment for black people specifically that has encouraged you to think that he's persuadable to help us on anything. What have you seen him do specifically for black folk?
Like the police reform, you mean?
There is no police reform, sir. There is none.
Well, because Tim Scott kind of held, the
okay,
vote.
Sir. So in other words, scamming and lying again. You're invoking something that's never even happened. There is no law and there is no police reform either.
Why
has
am I
he
being
nor
called
has
a
he
scammer,
supported it,
you know?
because it's part of your culture. Sir, this so-called police reform that you're referring to, what exactly would it have reformed?
Would it reform? I mean, so because anything that FBA or the black population in America wants, they have to go, by Congress and the House, and then the president will sign for it. That's basic civics, right? So
Notice I asked him what did it reform, and you notice he goes off on something else, lying and scamming.
So why are you asking me? So just
what the scammer is trying to do is trying to say the George Floyd Policing Act. That's what he's trying to reference, and we've already debunked that for years. There's nothing to it. Nothing.
No, I mean that wasn't even passed.
Okay, but sir, you don't even know what the name of the so-called police reform. Somebody is talking about police reform. You all don't even know what the name of it is. The host does. I know what it is because I've been watching it the whole time. And there's nothing to it. It doesn't do anything. Not about qualified immunity. It doesn't do anything. We need more training. We need more oversight. We want to collect more data. What it doesn't do is make an anti-black hate crime bill law and then prosecute the police. Because here's the thing. The laws are already on the books to deal with police. We don't need a new law. What you don't have is a Justice Department that is enforcing the law. And you sitting up here arguing as if they need to do something. Well, if they can just pass this, if we could just get Tim Scott to get out the way. They already have 4 or 5 laws that execute anything you could possibly imagine. If it's not happening, it's because they don't want to enforce. Yes, sir. At the federal level, there's already 3 or 4 laws at the federal level that allow them to protect us against police violence already. If it's not happening, it is because they're not enforcing it.
I mean, the Civil Rights Division has been doing a lot of things, but they still have
name three prosecutions that they've done, sir. Name them. Go.
You're talking about the. I mean, I can Google it.
No. Now he's gonna stand up. Now he's saying, "Let me go Google it and find out." Now he just made a definitive statement that he's saying, "Wait a minute, I need to Google it first." Now he wants to go looking for something. Why can't you just name it, sir? I just sat up here and named the case about Carolyn Bryant. I sat up here and named the George Floyd Policing Act. I named this off the top of my head. You just claimed several times lying because they lie and scam because life is what they do, and he can't even tell you he can't name one case to substantiate the lie he just told. He can't even name one. He claims they're doing all this stuff. Yeah, they're doing so much stuff, he can't name a single one.
I mean, I don't have like the cases on me.
Okay, then so you're just gonna lie and claim that they did something that even you know full well you're lying about.
What I'm saying is based on the limited, power overreach that the federal government has.
Sir, what did you tell us? What you have seen that tells you that they've done anything?
I mean, Kristen Clark has been doing a lot of the,
90 seconds. Okay, we asked you name three prosecutions.
Jason, I cannot name you the cases and all that stuff.
That's because, and that is because what you said is a lie.
Answered this way,
sir. That is because what you said is a lie. That's why you can't name anything. You couldn't name George Floyd. You couldn't name Carolyn Bryant. And now you've had to admit, I'm just lying. I'm just making this up. I'm just lying. And this is why your agenda and ours are totally separate, because you have to lie. Therefore, we can't work with you because you've already confirmed, he's lying. He wants us to support Biden, and yet he's lying about why he wants this to happen.
But you guys need our votes too, because with your vote, you cannot make any type of changes. So we have to work together.
Sir, we've made plenty of
we can have all
changes.
these
Sir, tell me
bravados and
one place. Tell me one place in America where black folk need the illegal alien vote.
Well, no. What I'm saying is like I'm not talking about like illegal immigrants.
Okay,
from
sir,
a different
sir,
part of the world.
explain
We're
to me.
talking about
Okay, sir,
Africa.
sir,
So
explain
I'm
to
from
me.
Africa, so-
Explain to all of us here. How is it that we single-handedly got all the civil rights acts passed with no immigrants, no illegal aliens involved at all, and we were 11% of the population back then? If we need you, how did we do that back then when there were fewer of us?
Well, because during the civil rights era, black people were very active in the political discourse.
Okay, but no,
So
but
they
no
were voting.
illegals, but no
But now, a
illegals.
lot
We
of
didn't,
black
and we
people
didn't
are just
require
lazy
any
and they're not
illegals. We didn't
They're
require
choosing
any
the
illegals.
couch, and they're not voting. They're making up a lot of these nuances.
Sir,
and
how
say,
did we
we're
how
gonna
did we do
choose the
that
couch.
all those decades ago without illegals? How did we do that without you all?
Well, actually, if you look at the the voting numbers and stuff, at least for the Democratic Party, it's a mixture of African diaspora.
Sir, we
and black
got
people that
the
voted.
Civil Rights Act passed in the 1960s with no illegals
That's what
or
I'm
immigrants. No illegals or
Well,
immigrants
back
were
then-
required or involved. So if we can't do it without
but-
y'all, how did we get that done without you?
Well, because things have changed now. Things have the voting power of Black Americans. All the FBAs have changed. A lot of people out of
Why?
Well, because they're not being active in the political discourse. So
No,
we have to fill
you're
in
lying.
the
Now
gap.
he's lying again because that isn't what you said.
Mm.
He's lying again. That's not what he said. You said that we were lazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, like with regards to like local votes that matters, a lot of Black people don't vote, especially from I think the age range of 20. If I'm not mistaken, there's actually on Roland Martin Unfiltered, he actually put the statistics on there saying the age range of Black folks that vote.
Where are your
voting.
people from originally?
I choose not to discuss that. I'm from the continent. of
Okay,
Africa.
we'll try this one last time since you are so ashamed of where you come from, because we're not ashamed of where we come from.
It's not a shame.
We'll
It's
try
just
this
I
one
don't
last
want- I don't
time.
want-
Where are your people from originally?
From Africa.
Okay. Understand something. This is why we don't need you. You're ashamed of where you're from. You're a coward.
It's
You're
not
a
being
liar.
ashamed. It's
You're a
just that I
scammer.
don't want-
And furthermore, we
the,
don't need you for anything.
that
We
comment
already
to-
proved that. And by the way, you want to talk about lazy. You folks are so lazy you had to flee over here. That's laziness.
I did not flee. Actually, my dad got a job offer.
Sir, why didn't he make it where he was? We built ours where we are.
There's always a bidding, right? So
No, there's not.
the
No,
bigger
there's
bidder.
not. No,
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
not.
Yeah, when you get,
Sir,
'cause you
liar,
move in from a different
scammer, liar. And that's the reason
Why am I
why
lying?
that's the reason why we cannot work with you, liars and scammers. They need us. We got all this stuff done without you. Yeah, but it was different back then. You need us now. No, you need us. Let's be very clear. You need us. We don't need you. Don't believe me? Watch. That's why you sitting up here now begging us to, y'all need to support Biden for me and mine. No, we don't need you for that. There's nothing you're trying to do that we need you for. You're not going to be able to tell a big enough lie to gaslight that one. No, sir, we getting plenty done without you. As a matter of fact, we would like to have less of you. We don't need any of you to help us with anything. We got this. You're the ones who need the help. We got this. What you're scared about is that that's been changing. You used to be able to just assume that it's like, yeah, they're not watching what we do over here. We get over here and then undermine them. Now we're sitting up saying, yeah, we checking paperwork and, oh, you need us. No, not really. No, we don't. We've been making plenty of progress just fine without you. Hell, he can't even, number one, he's ashamed of where he comes from. And number two, he can't even tell you what the people he's claiming did something did. Kristen Clark, tell us who she's indicted. I can't think of nothing. Liar much? What somebody say? He comes from Liberia? Liberia? Now we know he comes from Liberia. My dad brothers over here. No, you ain't. Anchor babies ahoy. And you saw he came with the Candace Owens talk because y'all are just lazy. He thought I didn't hear that. He comes with the Anchor baby talk, the Candace Owens talk, the Coleman Cruz talk. Y'all are just lazy. Dude, your lazy ass daddy literally fled from where he was. He took a job offer. That nigga swimming in a canoe to get off in Long Island. That's not a job offer. That's not a job offer. Let me tell y'all what happened, because he's going to lie to you. For those of you who don't, does what he just said sound correct or what I'm about to say? Him and his folks fled over here and they claim to be refugees. They claim refugee status, so they just sat over here as illegal aliens for years and refused to leave. And then one day, the child was granted a green card, which tells you something else. No citizenship at that point. So what you're hearing is a bunch of folk who fled. They claim to be refugees and they just sat over here. And then he got a job. His daddy got a job washing dishes somewhere. And now all these years later, the son is trying to tell us, oh no, we was doing great. We was doing fly. No, you came over here as illegals and you sat over here for 2 damn decades. That's what happened. That's why he doesn't want to say where they're from, because then it would be naming exactly what refugee country they fled from. Then it'd be like, okay, the circle is complete. Yo, daddy, nobody is coming to look for an engineer out of Chad or Kenya. Nobody's in America. Ooh, the best engineers come over there. Nobody was doing that. Nobody's doing that. Nobody was looking for somebody to be, chief of surgery out of Rwanda. There were no white companies, we really need to see if we can find us a cardiologist in Rwanda. That's what we really need to be. Nobody was doing that. Sierra Leone got the best dentist. Let's see if we can bring this man. And they brought you over here with your dad, and then y'all just sat for over a decade? That don't even sound right. Y'all know that doesn't even sound right. This white company brought them over here. Oh yeah, we just bring people over and just let them sit. Your dad is not a citizen. Now there's the other thing. If his dad's not a citizen, he wasn't supposed to be here. Your visa didn't last that long. Your daddy was supposed to have left and take you with him, according to your version of the events. No, let me explain. Don't be getting up here with this lying talk. No, I'm not going to have you give Fantasy Island. Don't get no lying talk. Caller from area code 716. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Jason. This is Dwayne. I'm sorry, Keith in Buffalo. Can you hear me?
Okay, he doesn't even know what funny name he wants to use. All right, wink, wink, Keith in Buffalo. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I had to, kind of remain anonymous, but that is my middle name. But anyways, what I wanted to bring to your attention was that at my job, I work around a bunch of white guys, obviously, in manufacturing. And, these guys, they're kind of like libertarian, kind of Republican-ish. But, as you would expect, they're on the Trump train. So, I'm on Team Couch. And when I talk to these guys about who, the election and everything, they ask me, well, why are you staying at home? Why aren't you going to pick a side? You shouldn't talk about the election because you don't have an opinion on it. And I told them, I mean, I know who's running and everything, but I just don't support what they're offering. But what I don't really want to talk about is the black agenda, because I feel like that'll open up a can of worms. So how do you think I should approach that?
Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't say anything.
That's why they say don't talk about politics at work.
Yeah, because they're fishing for you. So it's no, you just talk about your job. When you go to work, then don't talk about no politics, don't talk about sex, don't talk about anything. I'm here to discuss my job. Anything else y'all talking about, I ain't involved.
Absolutely. Black first.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Black first as always. Let me get called from area code 256. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Jason. My name is Tony, and I'm calling from Huntsville, Alabama.
All right, Tony from Huntsville. What's on your mind?
I just want to make a quick comment. First of all, I love this broadcast because there's never a dull moment. Now, my comment is this. For all my B1 family and for the people sitting in the back, realize we had a black president in office for 8 years that didn't do anything for black folk. So why in the world would you think any white man is going to do anything for black folk? If you think that, then you believe in a white Jesus and a Santa. And I'll land my plane there. Black first.
Black first, brother. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I mean, certainly under Obama, that was definitely problematic to have that. That was definitely problematic. It's just if you didn't demand anything from him, that's an issue. When Obama was allowed to be in office and, when folks started giving up demands and talking about having this damn symbolism and, ain't you happy to have somebody who kind of looks like y'all in office and that's your reward, this symbolic stuff, making them a trophy? No. We don't need that. And that's why the old folk don't like what we're doing. They don't like what we're doing because we're actually making demands now. It's a whole different ball game. Obama can't get the traction he had. He couldn't get the traction he had. Not at all. That's why he's not running around now. He can't get that traction. It's not happening for him. Michelle Obama, she can't move the way she was moving before. The audience is not receptive. She can't move like that. He should. Here's the thing. If Obama was that potent, Obama would be on the damn campaign trail right now, lighting it up. Obama can't move like he was before. He can't talk like he did before. He can't say anything. He knows every time folk turn around, they're going to be asking about Eric Garner and all these things. He doesn't want to get that smoke. Obama is a negative, but only because we have become more sophisticated. We're actually demanding something. That's the whole thing. Roland Martin is telling you don't demand nothing. Well, yeah, because he's already getting what he wants out of Joe Biden. Bring more of my people over here. That's right. Bring more of us over here. And meanwhile, they have an anti-black agenda. And we are setting the tone for what that has to be. Everybody who wants to sit up here and utilize the political establishment to try to undermine what we're doing because we're going to knock white supremacy down. Well, I identify as an immigrant first. When you do that, you're done. The only question is you identify as black first. When that's the case right there, it's like, okay, that supersedes everything. These folk come over here like, oh, well, I'm with you, but, we need to support these people here because this is what we do. And by the way, you saw he was lying when he first got on the phone. It's about blackness, about us and about blackness and, about black folk and about black folk. And as soon as I made the comparison, what's the first thing he said? Well, y'all are lazy. You can't get nothing done without us. We got the last 160 years done without you. Yeah, well, that was back then, but now you really need us. We were less people and less percentage of the population, and we got everything done without you, not plenty done, everything done without you. Yeah, well, you still need us. We need you for what? To undermine us, to scam us, to backstab us? What exactly do we need you for? What exactly do we need you for? To undermine and scam and backstab? We need that? Somebody tell me, are they giving out free meth pipes on the way over? Is that what they're doing? Caller from area code 720, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, TBA, I know you don't like people calling twice. Can I just get something out real quick?
Okay. Thank you very much for giving us a call. No, one phone call per weekend. Thank you. Time is precious. Do I think this is the end for Trump? Could be. Could be. Do I think he's going to fight like hell against it? Absolutely. And, well, Jason, how do you see that working? If he makes enough noise and if he's loud enough, if him and his folks make enough noise and they're loud enough, then they can stop the tide if they do that. If they make enough noise and they're loud enough, then they can do that. And they certainly seem to be committed to doing that. So if that occurs, that would be the only way out for them at this point. Other than that, they're going to try to disqualify him for running for president. However, all roads to the White House run through foundational society. All roads to the White House run through us. We either choose for you to go or we choose for you to go home. Just remember that. We're the ones who choose whether you go to the White House or whether you go back home. Now, I think this year in particular, that is going to be particularly cogent. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. Oh, let me send a shout out here to Mr. Cooper and Sharima for the battery fund. Yeah, we got for the battery fund here, so we appreciate that. Definitely, we're going to help a few folks out here and stuff because we don't want them to get caught in an unfortunate situation here. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go and check out our groundbreaking, best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified Race Wars, soon to be 8 a.m., looking at having the crowdfunding for that going here around Juneteenth. So for everybody, keep your eyes and ears open. That will be coming here. Can't wait to go ahead and unload that on you. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future and the future is uncompromising.